Hey, now we got something working. Man, welcome to my world, people. Welcome to my world. Now turn your cameras on, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. It's not the way I want to start the class off. How's everybody today?
Good.
Good.
But guess what? Zoom decided to do on the 30th.
Update.
You had to have 5.0 to be able to host a meeting. And I was up here all day yesterday, and nobody told me. Thank goodness we're the only Northwest class that is doing this today. Actually, the IT guy I go to church with me is one of my very best friends, and I had to call him I called him at 15 to 8, and it just took them almost. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, they like our class. I can't do anything on my computer. If I was at home, I could have hosted the darn meeting because then I could update it my own freaking stuff." But welcome to the world of technology. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I really hate starting off like that. And whoever called me a while ago, I apologize. I was less than nice to you. I'm normally a nice person, but if 27 people call me, I can't. I had actually gone to another room to actually, let me move over here where I look like I'm looking at y'all anyway. There we go. Now I look like I'm looking at y'all, right? That's a little bit better. I'm looking at y'all. Well, guess what happens? Anytime we do something like this, we're gonna have technology problems. I'll try to take this waiting room out, but I know some of y'all. How many of y'all been doing any of the Zoom stuff? How many of y'all? Anybody? Okay. Yeah, y'all know they've been having people breaking in, doing weird stuff. So we're trying to use a little bit of security. But I did set that up. That password, AP class, all caps, will be the one we use all summer, guys. Okay. At least in June. Now, Angel Nickens may do something else. Anyway, so let me catch my breath. But anyway, I'm a little flustered this morning because I've been doing Zoom a good bit since March. We actually finished the semester on Zoom, and then it's just crazy times. Well, first of all, guys, let me just show you what I've done, what I've got set up. First of all, let's make sure everybody's on the same page. I'm going to call roll some point today. I've got it. I may just cut off this screen. Does that get on y'all's nerve when part of my body comes up missing or whatever? But anyway, my office is a mess, and some of y'all, I know I've talked to a couple of y'all, my office is a pretty big mess. But I do want y'all to stay on camera because part of my thing about teaching is I like to make it personal, and I want to be able to see y'all. And if one of y'all are throwing up or giving me a thumbs down, then that means that it's not making any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? And so I got to look at y'all to tell where we're at. Okay, and I actually did some Zooming earlier when we finished the semester, and I got tickled. Everybody just put a picture up, and I think I was the only one there. Me and one lady, one of my best students, and she would come back to me and say something. But what we can do is, and I think this works out pretty good. I'm going to mute everybody, and then if y'all want to say something, y'all can just you can hit space bar, and you can speak up, and you're not going to hurt my feelings asking questions. Okay, and I talk real fast, so y'all bear with me. And one of the other things I'm going to do, if I can get this thing to work right, I am recording this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the lecture. I'm going to record this whole thing today, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube. But I'll put a link inside our Canvas course, okay? And like I said, I want to just take a little bit about myself and apologize for this morning. I did get here early, and I came up here yesterday and worked all day. I worked about 6 hours yesterday afternoon. I thought I was fairly prepared. I also have 2 other online classes that are, that are non-synchronous that are going right now, and they started this morning. But the nature of anything to do with e-learning or technology is when you least expect it, it will fail. Okay, and so one of the lessons of this morning is for y'all is I've already assigned a whole bunch of online homework. Do not wait till Sunday night or the last minute to do it, because guess what will happen? Pearson will decide to have an update that night when you're trying to do it. And I thought I was pretty prepared today, and here I am. We're starting about 20 minutes late. But just a little bit of background on myself, and I don't want to toot my horn a bunch. I'm not going to be that. I'm not that kind of person. But I do think it makes it more interesting if you know the person, and you feel like if I can convince you that I am very concerned about y'all's education and I want y'all to succeed. And if I can make that personal, I've found over the last 29 years, the students seem to do a whole lot better. Okay. So I take this real serious. I'm gonna be very sad when y'all do bad, and I'm gonna be very happy when y'all do good. Got somebody waiting to come in the room. Sorry about that, Sadie. And I don't even like that waiting room. Oh, here's somebody else in the waiting room. They're coming on in. But wow, we got 28 people on here. I don't think we got but 30 people in the class, 29 people in the class. I think almost everybody's here. But what I'm going to do, we'll wait and call Roe at the end today. Come on in, Sadie. Sorry about that. But I'm going to show you the class. We're going to go over and look at the Canvas class. I'm just going to show everything to y'all this morning. We may take a few minutes. I just want to tell you right off the bat that this is, like I said, this is my 29th year in Northwest, and I'll be starting my 30th in August. And I've never experienced anything like last semester. I really miss class. I think I have taken my job for granted, and my job is to talk with y'all about science and maybe be the first step in your career of being a nurse is mainly what I've been doing. I came here 29 years ago to teach A&P lab, and as you'll find out in lab, I think we got a pretty good lab here at Senatobia, and I think we do a pretty good job in lab. I'm very excited about getting to see some of y'all tomorrow. I haven't seen any students in 3 months. I've already decided that retirement's not going to go well for me. Okay, because I love being around y'all. I feed off of y'all, and my life has been to trying to help I was raised on a dairy farm over in Lee County. I know what it is to work for a living, and my job the last 29 years has not been work. It's been a pleasure. Okay, been a pleasure. And I have a lot of people out there that are nurses today that came through my class. So I think we've done a pretty good job, but the past is only as good as what we do this time, right? So how I do my job this time is the way you would judge me. And right now I give myself a D on technology for having this thing screw up this morning. I should have done a practice yesterday or something. But I want to brag on y'all right off the bat. I had about 3 people call me yesterday having a meltdown trying to get in the class. The class didn't open to this morning. I tried to turn it on yesterday. So I know that we have some rock stars in here that are going to blow this thing away, because there were people emailing me last night wanting the first PowerPoint. And I mean, I'm in tears. I told my wife this morning that this is going to be a good month. And I already told Angel Nickens that we got some really good students here, because you guys were all in early, already emailing me. And my gosh, I mean, 28 people in a class of 29, counting me. So we got 2 people not here. Okay, so let's just start off with the most important thing. And let me make this really clear, because I had one of my ladies that called me last night. Everybody understands that this is how we're doing it, right? We're having actual class every morning. And believe me, I don't do 8 o'clock very well. Okay, this is real reach for me. Okay, but I will tell you, in the whole pandemic since March, I've woken up at 6:30 every morning. And I normally come into work around 8, but I don't normally teach to 9 because I don't really do 8 o'clock very well. But when we set this up, and the school did ask me and Angel to do this, because we want you guys trying to get in nursing to have the opportunity to knock out A&P 1 and 2 both this summer, but also have the experience of seeing the teacher. And because online just is not a good way to do classes. I mean, I've made a lot of money. I paid for a lot of cars, had a lot of trips. I paid off online principles of biology. I actually, that sounds like I'm bragging, but I taught the first class in that about 20 years ago online. The very first one in the state of Mississippi, I taught it. We didn't have Canvas. We just linked a bunch of websites together, and it was the best. So we've come a long way. But I don't really, not a big fan of online education. I think I'd rather have people, and I think it's great for women and men that can't get to school. Maybe you're working and stuff. It's a good start. But I do believe in face-to-face, even if it's digital face-to-face. I think this is the way to do it. Now, is everybody cool with that? Now, I've got an outline. I'm going to show it to you. And I love that thumbs up. And there's also a little emoji thing down there. And I'm actually looking at this new updated one. This down there, yeah. So y'all can actually send a thumbs up, right? Like I just sent to y'all. And you can even do this. Let's make this the wave instead of a hand. We'll just say, I got a question. You know, anything like that, we'll call that like, hey, I got a question. But look, I really will not be offended if you break in and go, hey, Miss Robison, I don't understand that, or you know, anything like that. I'm pretty cool. But I am excited about taping this lecture and letting y'all watch it again if you want to. See, because I talk real fast. So I'm going to put it on there. It may be later that night before I get today's lecture up. But I really think this is going to be gold, and I'm going to make it available to all my students in the fall, because over the last 29 years, the #1 complaint for Robison has been he talks too fast. I didn't get he's Southern, but he talks really fast. And so you'll have an opportunity to watch my lecture over and over again until, to the end of time if you want to, as long as YouTube is running. And I think a really good student, that'll be helpful. Now, the second thing is, real quick, is do not try to write down everything I say. That is not what I want to do. I think you'll go crazy trying to write down everything I say. You will burn your hand out. I actually had an interpreter one time for a deaf student, and it literally did. She cramped her hand up. I went and got a bucket of ice for her hand because she was trying to sign through me talking so fast. But what I would suggest doing, and I'm going to walk you through it real carefully this morning, is to download the PowerPoint for the chapter 1. And you can even do it on the PDF, and I've actually put the actual PowerPoint up. And I'm going to put this on our screen, and we're going to walk through it. Now, I believe this is the way I teach. This is just my personal thing. In a first, this is a 200 level class, but this is most of y'all's first college science class. And this is the most important class you're going to take to determine how easy nursing school is going to go. If you will buy in with me and make this the second most important book you've ever read, then you will get huge dividends in nursing school. I've had multiple students. One of my favorite one was I know Sean in here. Y'all see Sean? Sean and I are friends. We're both. He's the director of a church camp that I'm on the board, and I've known Sean a long time. I had a gentleman about Sean's age took this a couple summers ago. He had spent 25 years in law enforcement and decided to be a nurse. He is a nurse today. Had him for the whole summer. He came back, took me out to eat, and said, we got in nursing school, and we got into dosing, and we got into the physiology of the lungs and stuff. And he said, I went to a room and we taught 20 nursing students how hemoglobin works. And so we're doing something right here, okay? And I may not be the style that you like, but I promise you that I'm going to make this very passionate, and I'm going to make it interesting. But there is nothing more interesting to me than the human body that God made, okay? I think we are the top of the food chain. I think, however you want to do all that evolution stuff and whatever happened in evolution, I still think God did it. So whatever. So it's God's hand. That's just where I'm coming from. So I mean, all this, and I'm so excited about getting an opportunity to show y'all the human body. Okay, now let's take a look at the class. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to go to. I've got 300 Zooms popped up here. Man, I had it all laid out, man. I had it all. Y'all have been so proud of me. Okay, I had it all set up really pretty, and where I wanted to go each step, and then it didn't come on this morning. So anyway, hey dear, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna now share my screen with y'all. Can everybody see that? Oh, we gotta hit share. Everybody with me? Okay. Now, everybody knows we go to Northwest website. Everybody's done this, right? Okay, go to Canvas. You have to log in. Now, here's something that several people had trouble with. Several of y'all called me and said, Mr. Robin, my courses don't show up. You need to go down to all courses, and this will pull them all up. And look, this is everything I've taught the last 30 years. And you have to highlight it if you want it to show up when you hit courses. So you have to hit that button, and then when you highlight it, then it just shows up the one. These are the 4 classes I've got going on right now. There's your lecture, there's your lab, and here's 2 online non-majors biology classes that I'm teaching. But if you're not seeing it here on courses, it may be that you need to hit here and click on it. Now, I know that some of y'all signed Friday. It could be that it is not updated. So it has like a 24-hour update thing. So some of y'all may not be in here, but it's very critical to be able to email me if you're not being able to log in this morning. Okay? And I might even, maybe at the end of let's just get through the class, and maybe we'll come back and I can just make a quick note of who's having trouble. And basically just have to update. So if you can't see these classes, things are going to get real hard for you, and I don't want that to happen. We need to get that to working. And I know a couple of y'all still I know we got to get a couple of y'all in the class. I went ahead and emailed this to some of y'all. If I'd stayed home, I could have started the darn thing. Anyway, long story short. Okay, let's go to the lecture. Okay, now here is my note a while ago that we're having trouble. Here is the credentials to get in, and I've used the same ID. I went ahead and set up a meeting at 8 o'clock every morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So there's and I tried to log in with my phone, but I forgot one of my passwords on my phone. Is a long story short, because I did have my phone here. Here is my children. This one is now 28. This one is 20. So this is an old picture. I'm a lot fatter than this, but this is Angel's Landing. in Zion National Park, and it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. And this is Death Valley, and these are the famous sliding rocks, and that's my fat shadow over here. These rocks actually slide, and no one knew how they moved until about 3 years ago, maybe 4. So I'm a big science explorer of things. If you'll look here, if you'll look at this, you can see down here, it talks about how to get into the class. If you'll go over here to Zoom, most everything is under modules, okay? So here is our COVID-19 information, okay? And we put this module in, and I also have, you should have gotten, y'all have to go in and log in and declare that you don't have the disease, and if you haven't been to, like, New York City in the last day or 2 or something like that. And we're very serious about that because we're going to be very careful in lab. We're going to wear gloves and goggles in lab when we're doing the touching the bones and stuff. We just decided as a group, we got lots of gloves, so we will let y'all glove up. So we won't leave anything on these bones. Okay, now here's my next question. Does the ebook work? It was not working last night. The ebook should be over here in bookshelf. Let's try. I'm not feeling lucky today. Of course it's not in there. Should be right there. So I'm gonna have to get on that. I've got our end around on that though, so I'll show you an end around in just a second. So there should be an ebook in there, and we reported them last night not being in there. Okay. You do not have to buy a book on the internet. You already have a book. You paid for it. However, if you come up to one of our campuses, specifically Senatobia, when you go to buy your lab book, go ahead and buy the hard copy for $1. We went with this book. This is a new book that's been out about 6 years now, but we really like it, and we got a really good deal when we first adopted it. So where y'all can get a loose leaf color copy for $1. So pretty cool, pretty interesting stuff. Okay, here is the standard syllabus, which is usually a waste of time. I'm going to skip it. Y'all can read it at your own leisure. Okay, and then here are how I'm going to do your grades. And then here is the outline, what we're going to do on each day. And then here is a code you got to have to get into the online homework. So this is really important. This is really important stuff right here. Down here are all the PowerPoints. Most of them are, I believe, in PDF too. I don't see chapter 1 in PDF, but I can try to pull it back in there. I have it. I had actually made it last night and sent it to somebody, but I don't mind y'all having the PowerPoint, so there's no need to write everything down. Okay, I would just go along with me. If you can look over this before, like look over chapter 2, and then as I go through chapter 2, make notes about what seems to be really important. Okay, so on all of my tests, this is my standard test. We're gonna have 50 multiple choice questions that come out of possibly the test banks or something I've written, and you'll use a Scantron to do those 50. So when you get your book, pick up your lab book, buy some Scantrons, buy the $1 copy of the book. That's going to count 50 to maybe 75% of your test. And then I do short answer questions that you must almost always come right out of lecture. Very obvious things, but I like a little brute memorization, especially things like muscle contraction. I want you to write it out so you can go home and practice writing it out. But I do a lot of short answer questions. They're going to be 25 to 30, 40% of the class. And then I like to do terms sometimes. So terms would be anything in the book. Okay, so I do terms also, so that's important to kind of see that. Now I went ahead and opened these up. Let me see if I've got these up. We can look at these real quick just as a page. Okay, so here are my rules, A&P 1. I pulled up the lab one. There we go, Robin. I'm already batting 1,000 days. Well, let's just take it right off of here. I'll pull up the PDF of this. So there it is. This is your standard syllabus. These are the objectives that we're going to cover in part 1. Nothing much there. I'll leave that up. I'm not going to read that to you. Here's what I want to show. This is how we're going to do our grades. Okay, so my phone number is 3380. Some of y'all have my Google number. If y'all call me, please let it ring and ring until it goes to voicemail, and then leave a number. I've got it set up right now to where if you call my number or my Google number, it goes to a voicemail, but it won't remember your number if you don't leave a message. So it's been very frustrating for some of y'all to leave a message or a call and they can't get through to me, and it has to go from Northwest to my cell phone. So I actually have it connected to my cell phone. So please be patient. I'll pick up if I'm not talking to somebody else, but if I don't pick up, leave a number and I'll call you back. I'm in the first floor of Math and Science building. We're going to have lab on the second floor. Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 6 tests over the semester, over the month. And I'm going to give you the dates. They're out there right now. You can pull it down if you want to. I'll show it to you in just a second. And those tests will be here, and we'll probably start them at like 9 o'clock. So y'all can sleep in a little bit and get here at 9. We start a test at 9, then we're done by 9:15, 9:30, and we have lab at 11. Okay, I mean, I know lecture's supposed to be over at 10. I'm not going to try not to lecture. It's going to be hard for me to cover it all by not having that extra lecture sometimes after a test. But we'll do the test here. I have 3 classrooms, all close to each other, and we'll put like 7 or 8 in each classroom, maybe 9, 10, and 9 of y'all. And I'll stand in the hall, and I'll come between the 3. And then what I'll try to do is grade them very quickly and post them probably the next day, but we won't look over them until we take the next test. So when we come in to take tests, you'll get to see the test before, and we can look over it, okay?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying the test for the lecture will be on campus?
Yes. During this lecture time for this morning, like between 8 and 10.
Okay.
Is that going to be a problem? I'm sorry, is that Ms. McKinney, is that going to be trouble?
Yeah, I was told that the class would be fully online when I registered.
Well, when you registered back in March, man, and we done flipped it twice since then. So yeah, you want to get out of this, and maybe you may want to take it online. But this one was designed, and I tried to call everybody, and it says right there, you know, this is a Zoom, and I don't know who's telling y'all some of this, and it did. And actually, the email that went out to everybody said almost at the very bottom, the president said some classes will not be online, but nobody reads the whole stuff. I don't read everything. But yeah, if you can't come to Senatobia, then you don't need to be in this class. Okay, you probably need to flip it online. But the way it works, you have to have A&P 1 before you take A&P 2. So if you're trying to knock them all out, the only way to do it is with this Zoom class with me in June and Miss Nickens in July. But if you would like me to, after we get through this morning, I can put you in one of the online classes. You can take A&P 1 online. But I'm going to tell you straight up, that class is a whole lot harder than what we're going to do, because you've got to figure it all out. You do not have interaction with the teacher. You have a 24-hour lag between that question you just asked me, Miss McKinney. And by the way, I went to high school with some McKinneys. You're not from the Tupelo area, are you?
No.
No family over there?
Mm-mm.
2 of my best friends in school were McKinneys, yeah. But anyway, sorry about that. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is very crazy, I know. But this class is a synchronous 8 to 10 every day online, and then the test will be in person. But the days we have lab anyway, so I think most of the days y'all going to turn around and have lab at 11 o'clock. If you took our morning labs and our 1:30 labs. We have labs to go with this class at 11 and 1:30 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think maybe 2 tests are on Friday, where you come in on Friday. That's all we do is take a test.
Is the lecture only on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays?
No, it's every day, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Sadie. Yeah, so lectures every day, but the test will be part of the lectures. So what it's like, and I thought that'd make better sense if y'all to come in at 9 instead of 8, because y'all ain't gonna tell you. I'm not gonna give you 2. You don't need 2 hours to take my test. About an hour and a half. So if we start at 9, we're done at 10:30, and people have lab at 11. So shouldn't be a problem.
Sounds good.
But Ms. McKinney, if you would, when we get through, you just stay online. I can probably do it while we're on Zoom, and I can switch you out to another class. We're doing the online. We have an online one, but all online classes are 8 weeks, and we have labs at night for that. So you might want to take an 8-week lab that runs with the lecture time. Okay. Anybody else? Any other good question? Sorry about that. That's what I was wanting to address at the very beginning. Make sure everybody knows that this is you have to be on the computer every morning. I had to remove a lady yesterday. She goes, I work from 7 to 1:30 every day. I said, well, this ain't gonna work for you. You can't take it. I flipped her to an online class. But I do think this is much better than online, because online, you got to kind of figure it out yourself. You have to watch the videos that y'all have access to. But on here, y'all can hear me try to spin it my way. Okay, now, the code is in here. You don't need a code. You don't have to buy a book or a code. We give you a code. You have to use the code one time to set up the homework. Then it's good for A&P 1 and 2. So when y'all come back in July, y'all don't have to redo this coding thing. The coding thing shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, now, we're going to have 6 tests, and we're going to have online homework that's going to count as a test. Okay? There's 2 big parts of it. One of them is called Dynamic Study Modules, and the other one is we call Mastering A&P Homework. I break them down in the you can actually click over to assignments, and it shows you the breakdown of what everything counts. I'll show it to you in a minute. But basically, all of that counts as a test. So you got 6 tests in person, which is really, per chapter almost, so it's really not too much at one time. Online has a midterm and a final that count 30% of your grade each. That is high stakes, really tough, and they're going to have to use a camera to take their test at home. I just don't have all the test banks in my computer. I don't teach A&P online, so I don't have all those tests done. I'm still old school with it. But anyway, we'll have 6 tests, and all that homework will count as a test. So you'll have 7 grades, okay? So any one test is not going to ruin you, and you should have a 90, 95, 100 on your online homework. So that's like a free grade. Okay, add them up, and then I use a 10-point grading scale. I don't suspect I'm the one that was tardy this morning, but I am one of my pet peeves is people that come in late. I think it goes back to my mother being late to church all the time and dragging me to church late. But anyway, one of my pet peeves is so try to get to class on time, especially lab. And I know some of y'all having some technical problems. Sorry about that, guys. But I am taping it so y'all can. Sorry about that. Get everybody in. If y'all see somebody in the wait list, just somebody jump in there and holler Robin, let them in. Cause I'll get on a roll. But is that pretty cool on that part? That's pretty straightforward, right? 6 tests. Online homework counts as another test. And then I use a 10-point grading scale. By the way, nursing doesn't. Nursing, I believe a C is like 78. They got a jacked up grading scale, and I love them over there. So y'all got to make A's and B's, guys. And I will tell you that if you make an A or B in this lecture, then I would say you have a high probability of making it through nursing, especially because the pace we're going to run in June is the pace of nursing. I was telling some people I had a instructor of nursing. His daughter took this last year, 2 years ago, and once we got through and her daughter made an A, she said that the pace that we run this summer class is the pace of nursing. So if you can come in here and make an A or a B in A&P 1 and 2, then you're gonna be fine for nursing in January. You'll understand the pace of it. So it goes pretty fast. And I would really encourage y'all. And look, guys, I know you can take A&P 1 and get in nursing, but I would knock them both out this summer. You do not want to take nursing 1 with A&P 2. Well, I've seen that back in my past. We used to let them come in and take A&P 1 with nursing, and they would lose a whole lot of people. So we're now, have these criteria, but now A&P 1 is the big one. But I would knock out 2 also, because so much of it is nursing 1. So you really need to get that A&P 1 and 2 both, I think, out of the way before you dive into nursing. Okay, cheating's a big deal. We'll talk about that more later. The book is Aaron Ehrman, Human A&P 2, 2nd edition. It's an excellent book. We ain't much emergency here. We'll go over those that y'all at home. But in case of fire, the usual drill. I'll let y'all look at that at your own will there. Okay, let me go back to modules again, and let me show you. This is the code you need. Take a look. And what I would do is just copy and paste it. Let's just do this real quick. So you would need to copy this code. Okay, copy and paste, and then the online homework is over here under My Lab and Mastering. Now, I've talked to Pearson about naming this My Lab because that throws people off, because lab is what we're doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right, when you're in a lab. That really drives me crazy. This is the online homework. And so you click on this, and then you hit here, and then it's going to ask for that code and have you log in one time. Now, I've already logged in, and you have to use Google Chrome. Do not use Safari. It will freak out on Safari. Okay, so use Google Chrome. Even if you have Apple, run it off of that. And you'll come in here, and here are the assignments. Hit assignments. And I've got them all set up with all the dates already on them, if it will spin. There it comes. Run a little slow day. So these are a lot of online homework that we have here. You see the dates over here. Some of this is due Wednesday, all the way to June 24th. And a lot of these are just little videos where you click and drag. It's not anything super hard, I don't think, but it's just kind of cool, and I think it helps you learn. Now, I'm going to say this one time, and I'll try not to repeat myself. But when I started teaching, we had chalkboards, and they had plastic, pictures you could put over a spotlight, projector. So the first big revolution I saw was PowerPoint and the ability to use PowerPoint. Number 2 was the animation that I'm going to use a lot of inside the class. So a lot of animation, and I think the online homework is the 3rd evolution that I've seen in education that's a game changer. Matter of fact, I used to laugh about we don't do homework in science. Well, by doing this homework, y'all are ready before we cover the material. So if y'all do the chapter 2 tonight and tomorrow, before we have class on it, then chapter 2 is 10 times easier. I mean, it's a game changer. If you will do the homework before the lecture, man, this class gets a whole lot easier. If you wait till the night before to do the homework, you're in trouble. A lot of the dates are not on test date. In the regular year, I would have them on the day we're going to cover that. But I did put, I think, most of these on the test day that it goes with that. Okay? So any questions about the homework? And we can come back to this again tomorrow if we need to. But so you'll have to get that code, go to the My Lab and Mastering, okay, and then go from there. Okay? Now,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Faith.
So whenever you click My Lab and Mastering, it says open My Lab and Mastering, and then I click it and I go through and it opens up to the Pearson website, and it says to either sign in with the Pearson account or create a Person account.
Okay, what it's saying is, I think it's asking you to give a code, and that you need that code. Don't put any credit card on there. Okay.
Okay.
You have to make an account with Pearson. You may already have one. So in other words, you would have to put your name and ID and address and that kind of stuff. And then once you do that, it'll ask for that code. And then from then on, when you click it, it goes right here. Okay, so you don't never have to log in again.
Okay. Thank you.
And we're working on where they'll get rid of the code, but they haven't quite figured it out yet. Some of the other book companies don't even have to do the code anymore, but we're still stuck with that code. Okay, I'm glad you said that, Faith, because one of the things that happens is there's a little button up here you have to click that says allow ClickUp blockers. You know those things used to pop up on your computer that you couldn't control, that we pretty much don't see anymore? They use those to do some of the animations. So you have to allow ClickUp pop-up blockers. So allow it to, it'll ask you a little red tag up here and you click it and it'll say allow pop-up blockers. Okay? But once we get through these little glitches, it'll make a lot more sense, I promise. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to do a Zoom later today for my online class to go over that, to my one that's all online, this biology, because I still like being able to look at y'all. Okay, but that's all the homework. And like I said, you can call me or we can talk about that. But I would say make sure you're using Google Chrome or Firefox, and make sure you allow pop-up blockers. And here's another thing. I'm glad Faith asked that. When you do something in that, you can get, there's a grade center in here. There's a grade book. Look, there's a grade book. Let me find it here. Y'all don't see this, but there's a grade book you can go to and look. All your grades will show up here. Now, none of y'all logged in yet, so I don't think anybody will be in here. Oh, yes, we have. Oh, my goodness. Look at y'all. 5 of y'all done logged in since I turned on. I did turn it on last night. So look at that. Ms. Gonzalez and Hooper and Paige and Wilson and Nancy, man, y'all rolling. Okay, so look, all of the homework shows up here. So listen, this is very important. If you do chapter 1, check that grade book before you leave. In other words, you can stop and come back to this homework. It ain't got to be done all at one time. But if you see a grade in there, you go to bed. Don't worry about what's in Canvas. Because see, you're not in Canvas right here. Right? You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You're probably in Taiwan web server for Pearson. You follow what I'm saying? So in other words, when you do work here, it's not going to show up in the grade book in Canvas, maybe as late as a week later. But as long as the grade's in there, I can hand copy it if we have to. Okay? So always remember that, because it just saves y'all a lot of emails. And I know some of y'all that was emailing me yesterday are very good students. So, hey, check in the grade book. If you see a grade in there, you're good. Okay? And sometimes, like here, it's percent. It may be total points in Canvas. So just be aware that don't freak out. It'll show up in there eventually. And that's one thing where you can always, look, the thing I love about Canvas is I have full disclosure. There ain't no hidden grades. You understand? There's no mystery here. You can see what your grades are. And if we disagree, then let's figure out that I typed one in wrong, because I'm going to have to obviously put the paper test in manually, but you get to see it. If you got a 50 when we go over it, you should have a 50 on here. If it's 55, Merry Christmas. You know, I got bumped at 5, you know. So, and we'll do some of that. But that makes sense, doesn't it, everybody? Really cool? So make sure that you see it in here in the grade book. I'm going to leave. I'm just going to click this one off and go back to our course. Okay, now here's the big one here. Let me go back to modules. This is a really big one here. Here is our outline. I would print this baby out. It's very ambitious. Now look, guys, we have got, look at this, and I'm sorry I've got it on. Sorry about this, but I'm not even gonna open it up. I'll just have too much trouble. So today I wanted to cover chapter 1. Now look, everybody buckle up. Make sure your safety harness is in. Chapter 2 Tuesday, test Wednesday. This goes real quick. Thursday, Friday, chapter 3 is a long chapter. It's a very important chapter. I'm giving you the weekend. Test on it Monday. Now, guys, look, I have found out over the years, more tests is better for y'all, because we only had 2 tests. it would be so much information. So it's a little easier to learn it all when you got it like this. Then we got 4, 5. Now look, here it gets kind of weird on week 2. 4, 5, and 6. My test is on 4 and 5. The test looks like it should have been Thursday. That's your midterm and lab next Thursday. Yeah, this goes quick. So your lab midterm is next Thursday. I'm going to lecture that morning on 6 and 7, and we'll have a test on that on Friday. So next week, you got a test on Monday and Friday and a midterm and lab on Thursday. Okay? On histology. Okay? So pretty intense. And then we go chapter 8, which is real short. And by the way, for the skeleton, which is a very long chapter, you're not going to have to learn a lot of it in here. We're going to do a lot of it in lab. So in this class, what we do is we conquer and divide. So there's a whole lot of bones we're going to learn in lab that I'm not going to learn in lecture. We're just going to skip them and go on something else. So your final in lab is going to be mainly bones and the brain, a dissected brain. Your midterm in lab is going to be mainly histology, the study of tissues, how to use a microscope, stuff like that. Okay. Then we'll come back and have a test on 7, 6, 7, 8. And I don't like lecturing. I rarely ever do that, but I did not want to make y'all have 2 tests on Thursday. Okay. So I think, so Friday is just test and nothing else on Friday. And then maybe, go home and relax. Okay. And then start on 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Then 9 and 10, a test on the 19th on Friday, another Friday test, so 2 Friday tests. And then look at this. Then this is the week of the nervous system. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Friday, there's very little chapter 14, and then the final on Thursday, the 25th. Then y'all get a week of 4th of July off, and then y'all come back and classes start back July 6th for part 2. And I'm taking July off. I took off last July, the first time I had a month off in 28 years, and took my wife to Hawaii. It was our 30th anniversary. So I went to Hawaii, and I was going to do something crazy this July, and we're just going to go to Gulf Shores for a week with my mom and dad who are still alive. So I'm going to take a month off. I really was discouraged last week. I'm about burnt out because I got so swamped last week trying to register all of y'all and trying to help y'all. And Ms. McKinney, I hate that I didn't get a hold of you and make that clearer to you, because I know that's frustrating when you think you signed up for online or vice versa. But there's a big deal about online labs, and I think this is where we take a stand. Our science division doesn't believe in online labs unless it's non-majors. But for something that major like that, and by the way, med school won't take online physics and organic chemistry, so even the medical schools are turning it down. Jackson will not take some of the online classes. Okay, is that pretty cool for the outline? And we're going to have to pretty much stay on script here, even though I'm already 30 minutes behind today. Chapter 1 is not a big deal. Chapter 2 is the most important one. This test on Wednesday is 80% chapter 2. Okay, and by the way, we don't go any deeper than 8th grade chemistry, so don't worry about crazy chemistry. If you do get a BSN, you'll have to take chemistry 1. God bless you on that. Okay. But I don't go much deeper than 9th grade chemistry. But for a lot of us, a lot of our people, it's been a while. It's a lot. Okay. So for those of y'all that went to great high school, chapter 2 is going to be easy. We probably won't hit anything new to chapter 4. Okay. For y'all. But for our older folks in here, or maybe you went to a bad school, chapter 2 can scare a lot of people. Okay. But I think I can bring it down to where it makes sense. Is that okay? Is everybody good with that on the outline? I would print this, man, and tape it everywhere in the house. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But I'm going to try my best to stay on the schedule. And that really bothered me. I wish I could have had that midterm on Wednesday. And we may move it. I mean, if lab goes better, but that's still awful fast. 3, 4, 5 classes midterm and then a final. See, it just goes really quick. This is as fast as I think you can humanly teach A&P. Okay. I just want to say that. And I've taught it in person probably for 15, 20 years in summer. Okay, is everybody cool with all that? Okay, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to obviously I'm going to be screaming at people about the ebook. That should already be in here. That's unexcusable. The reason we went to ebooks is so y'all would have your book on the first day. Let me show you an end around, okay, what I thought about it. Watch this. So go to My Lab and Mastering, log in, and watch this. Go to study area. Wait, here it is right here. Ebook. So there's an ebook in here, and this is actually better than the one that you get in bookshelf, because you can take notes, you can highlight. Okay, now watch it. And technology already making me look like a fool in it today. Here we go. It's going to work. Oh, baby, please work. Here we go. All right, here we go. So watch. You can go to chapter 1, and you got the whole book here. Here we go. Look at that. So you got access to the book today, even if they didn't get the book. And that book on bookshelf, you can download to your iPad, to your phone, and you'll have it, and it doesn't have to have internet. This one requires internet. But here's the whole book. Look at that. So it's all in here. And the thing I like about this, it will click here and it'll define a word, and it'll play a video. So anywhere you see the hyperlinks, that's pretty cool, right? And you can put notes, you can highlight. A lot of people like the ebook. Okay, I mean, this is a true dynamic ebook that you can run the videos. There's no animation in these yet. We got anything crazy going on yet? But where there's animation, it would actually fire up and you could play the animation. Okay, so that's in the study area inside the My Lab and Mastering. So for y'all, that's going to be your only book until I figure out why the book ain't in there. Okay, and once again, I will be on that. Matter of fact, we discovered that Saturday. We've already stirred it up. People done been called over the weekend, and I hate to do that on the weekend, but it is what it is. We ain't got room. Y'all ain't got room to play in here. But that deadline, we got to run. So I really do appreciate it. Did it turn on last night for y'all? Y'all able to get in last night? Some of y'all that got in? So good. I tried to turn the class on a day early to let y'all in. Okay, so there's the ebook. Okay, let's take a second. I think I've hit everything here. Let's see. Don't worry, the standard syllabus is just blah, 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 but that's how you're going to do your grades, right? And here, let me show you the breakdown of the grades one more time. Okay, but you can always, I actually pulled this over, y'all can see it. Go to assignments and take a look. The dynamic study modules are 6% of your total grade, and there's a bunch of them. Now look, I've already got 1 drop grade in. I'm going to probably go in and have at least 3 drop grades, but I like to do drop grades at the end so you get like a bonus. You know what I mean? Like a hidden bonus. You know what I mean? Like a surprise. People like positive surprises, not negative surprises. So I'm gonna have at least 3 of those, but I just got 1 right now. So if you forget to do 1, don't worry about it. If you get to do 2, don't worry about it. If you get to do 3, don't worry about it, but start thinking about it, okay? And here, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, okay? Actually, I'm missing, there's some that hadn't turned on yet. There should be 1 for chat. Okay, once again, I don't know why they're not up here, but there is a mastering for 11 and 12, 13, 14. There's 2 more of these. We'll have probably 1 of them drop. Those are big, lot of work to do each of those. And then here's your test. Look, 14%, 14, 14. Each test counts 14%. And you add those 2 together, you get 14%. 6 and 8.2 is 14. So there's your other test. Everybody see that? So basically, and look, guys, look, when you go in there, you're going to have that number. When you hit my grade, you see it. And if it ain't right, you call me and I'll make it right. You see what I mean? I love this transparency. So if I type in your test 2 wrong, don't scream me. Don't come get mad at me. Just call me and say, hey, didn't I make an 80? Oops, I'm sorry. My bad. I put 8. Sorry about that. Okay. So don't have a nervous breakdown. I had a girl almost had a heart attack one time. I put 8 down. And I put down 8. She made 98. Just a human error. And see, this is why I'm not a nurse. If you do that at the hospital, you just kill somebody, right? So y'all gonna be held to a higher standard than I am. I mess up, worst thing I can do is put the wrong grade in, and all I can do is fix it. Well, you give me the wrong dosage, and I'm dead, and you can't fix that. So I love y'all, but y'all got to be on your game big time. Okay, is everybody cool with all that? I'll get off of this. I'll go back to full screen. Everybody cool? All right, let's go back to. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and we'll talk. Wow, I've got 28 people counting me, so we're missing 2 people. Wow, that's really great. All right, and guys, I don't mean to be ugly, but I do like seeing y'all. And what I'm gonna do is I go through lecture. I'm gonna leave it on the side where I can see it. I just think it's important for us to be able to see each other, especially with all this going on with the pandemic and the terrible things in our country going on right now. I'm not gonna get into politics as little as I can, but do pray for our country, and I hope you do believe in prayer or whatever you do. Please ask for divine intervention in our country, right? Things are crazy right now. But I'll tell you one thing that if you ask anybody that ever had me for class, they'll tell you I'm hard and I talk fast, but I'm going to do my job and I'm going to cover it. I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to be fair to everybody, whether I don't know you, and I don't know but one person. I think maybe 2 of y'all. Talked to a couple of y'all on the phone. But Sean's going to have to do the same grades as everybody else, man. He knows I don't play, and he's probably going to set the curve. So y'all better better follow him. He's going to work hard. But y'all everybody's going to get the same grade. And if you get a you get stuck at 89, everybody in my class with 89 and some change is going to, if it's anything above 89, I'm going to round up. Not real big on giving 89s, but if you say 89 on your final grade, I done given y'all all 4 or 5 points, trust me, okay? So you really had an 86, and I done curved up to 89, okay? But I just don't believe in being a jerk on a half a point or anything like that, because that could be the difference between me being mad because my technology didn't work today and I graded harder, okay? And of course, I'm a huge sports fan, so I've been in detox now for 2 or 3 months. So, you know, I can't tell you that my Grizzlies getting thrown out of the playoffs because they had to shut it all down. But I'm a big sports fan, so I do have a lot of sports metaphors in my lecture, so y'all bear with me. Okay. Any questions? Let's open it up for questions, because that was actually pretty quick. We went about an hour. Well, we're late, but it won't take me 30 minutes. Probably. It won't take. We can get chapter 1 done easily because it's not that important. I'm going to skip a lot of it. Anybody have a question before we go forward? And Miss McKinney had a good one earlier. And anybody else anybody else feel like they're in the wrong class?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Olivia.
Okay, my technology wasn't working either, so I missed where you said how to get the code for the ebook.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you just a second. And I tell you, I'm sorry about that, Olivia. Hey, I'm going to tell you what else I'm going to do too for everybody. I'm taping and recording this, okay? And I'm going to put it back on YouTube, and there'll be a link in the Canvas class, okay? So if something like that happens, because it will happen like this morning, I couldn't get logged in, I will record it so y'all can go back and play over it if you want to. But let me show Olivia that, because that's a big one. That's a big one. And sorry about that. And I almost didn't do the waiting room, but as soon as I don't, somebody get on here and do something stupid, right? There'll be somebody break into our class, and we'll be on the CNN, you know. So the waiting room is probably a good idea. All right. Okay. Let me do that one more time. Let me go back and share that with y'all. Let me share screen again. I can find where it's at. And I've been working with this quite a bit. Where did it go? There we go. Let me go back over here. Okay. Good question, Olivia. Okay. The code is right here. So it's right here under, says mastering code. So what you want to do is just come in here and highlight this. You can type it in manually, but it works better just copy and paste. And now it's decided not to open up. There it is. So this is the code. Just highlight it, you know, and copy and paste. And you go right here, then hit this one. And make sure you're using Google Chrome. And you'll click this, open in my lab, and it's going to have you fill out an account. You have to make an account with Pearson. And then it'll ask you for your credit card. Do not put any money in anything because you've already paid for it. And don't do the free code because you got a full code. So you'll make an account, and then it'll ask you to put that in. And hey, listen, if you're having trouble, guess what we're going to do in lab tomorrow? Probably going to go to computer lab and log everybody in. Okay, so if you have trouble with it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll make sure we get everybody in, Olivia. Okay, if you have trouble.
Okay, thank you.
That makes sense?
Yes.
This is one of the things, look, imagine my regular online class, they don't even get to hear me say that. So I'm actually going to make a video later today for them, because I do think talking through this stuff is a lot easier. Okay. All right. I'm going to now go to chapter 1. Can everybody see that?
Mr. Robinson,
Yes, ma'am.
I was also told that this was an online class, just strictly online.
Okay, let me see who I'm talking to here. I guess I got Miss McKinney, and who else is that?
Kelsey Page.
Miss Page. All right, let me find you here on the road. I would love to know who you talked to. When did you talk to them?
My advisor, Ms. Watson.
Okay. Well, that's not the case. Okay, and we just didn't communicate very well. And I love her. She's one of my favorite people. So she just, it's like a lot of stuff going on, man. Very confusing to a lot of folks. And so she may not have been aware of us doing these Zoom classes. Okay. So if you, is there any way you can do that, or you want to change to, the only problem is you can only get A&P 1 if you go online. Right?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. And then you still have to do lab on one of our other labs, either in the afternoon or night. So if y'all,
Right.
let's do this. Look, if y'all want to go do something, y'all go eat breakfast or something, come back here about 10:15, or we'll be through about 10:05. I'll move y'all. I'll do it right now. I'll do it as soon as then, but I got to do class right now. But Miss McKinney and Miss Page, I can flip y'all to a online class that started this morning, which ain't nobody, there's no lecture, so you ain't missed nothing. But, and I've showed you how to log in. It'll be the same way to log in, which saves you, maybe been worth getting up to see. Okay, honestly.
I'm gonna stay on because I still like want to talk about it and have questions at the end.
Okay, let's talk. Let's do that. Let's wait. If anybody else wants to talk about it, but the only reason we did it like this was let me give you two real reasons here. Number one, we wanted y'all to be able to do both. And we didn't think online 4 weeks would be, can you imagine doing this without being able to talk to somebody in 4 weeks? You see the pace we got to run. It would be extremely difficult. And then this fall, we're looking at, we may start out all on hybrid. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, we're thinking about starting a citizen school in the fall where your Monday, Wednesday, Friday class would meet 1 day a week, and then maybe do a Zoom lecture 1 day, and then another day you would, the other half of the class come in. Because we can't let 20 people come in the room right now. You know what I'm saying? So we might have you come to lecture 1 time a week and then Zoom like this some of the other days times. And so I would really encourage y'all, if you're going to go to school in the fall, be ready to, and this is what happened in March. I had people who were in my 11 o'clock class, they all went and took a job and they couldn't do 11 o'clock Zoom. So y'all need to be prepared in the fall to work around what your normal class times. In other words, I would suspect we'll have what they call synchronous, meaning 8 o'clock class will meet at 8 o'clock in person like this. And then you'll be at home with no chance of getting any virus over the internet. But if you two want to come back, and Miss Page, you're welcome to hang in here and watch me go over chapter 1. Can't hurt you because you're going to have to do it online anyway. You're welcome to listen to me walk through chapter 1. But if not, you can come back about 10:05 and we'll swip y'all over, okay? All right, now I'm going to see if I can do this. I don't know if it'll let me do this. If it will, I can see all of y'all. Somewhat. I think so. Look at this. Look at this. I'm filling out the technology here. So I think I can do, I'm looking at y'all. I can see y'all on another screen where I can see everybody. I like that. I like that. Okay. And so here we go. I'm gonna start chapter 1. And let me see if I can. Here we go. All right. Everybody see that? It should be a full screen for y'all. Can y'all see it okay? All right. All right. Now here's the thing she did in chapter 1. It's kind of weird. She took about half this chapter and it's on ways to be a better student. I'm not going to read all this to y'all, okay? But I would tell you that there are some really good teaching tools here. I'm just going to flip through them. I'll give you a few of my thoughts. We'll start out. Actually, there's one note here on the beginning. I guess we should define the class. So the class we're taking is human anatomy and physiology. So anatomy is the structure of things, and physiology is the function of things. Okay. Now, here's my background. Like I said, I was raised on a dairy farm, and then I went to Northeast Community College in a galaxy far, far away at a long time ago. And I majored in pre-med so that the girls would go out with me. That did not work very well. Okay, but I majored in pre-med, and we didn't even have we took zoology back then. And so I didn't even learn about plants till I was in grad school. Okay, but as I went into Ole Miss and fell in love with the human body, I ended up getting a master's degree in biology. And let's just be brutally honest here. Now, guys, look, we're all adults, right? So everybody in here should be at least 18, or you're an adult. Okay, when you come to college, you're an adult. What do you think the most interesting chapter in that book is? Anybody? Anybody get excited about the foot? Foot scare me. I have a foot phobia. If you just flick through your book, what is the one chapter you're going to look at tonight before you go to bed? What is the one chapter you're going to go to? Oh boy, it's going to be a long summer. Go ahead, Sean, tell them.
Human sexuality.
Thank you. Okay, so I got my master's degree in human reproductive physiology. Okay, and so I'm sorry if that freaks somebody out. Okay, that is I believe God made that. Okay, and it's a good thing, and man has turned it into all kind of bad stuff on the internet or whatever. Okay, but that's what my master's degree was in, and I actually did reproductive physiology, and y'all might get a kick out of this. I actually was some of the people that was involved in them discovering marijuana affecting the reproductive system. So I actually worked with the guys who discovered that. University of Mississippi was the first school to show a link between THC and how it can alter reproductive system. And so we were growing cells out of rat testicles and exposing them to the hormone FSH that makes men make spermatogenesis, and you throw that on it, and then it jacks up that chemical. And so my master's degree was I'd use the same system, but I looked at a chemical called phenvalerate, which is a pesticide and roach killer. And I have never sprayed anything in my house since doing that research. I use the sticky pads and the little roach motels because think about it. If you can fly over a cotton field and make a plant drop its leaf overnight, what do you think is that doing to little Jimmy in the Delta eating that in his sandbox? It is not good. Okay, it's not good. So I'm a big believer in taking care of our environment, which God, that's why I've got earth behind us. We got to take care of this blue marble behind us. Okay, so I'm a closet tree hugger. Okay, I guess one of my bad metaphors. Okay, but physiology is my favorite thing. One of my best friends here at Northwest is a botanist, and he can name every tree. I got 2 trees, oak and pine. Okay, and poison oak. Let's go with 3. I can do 3 weeds. But you tell me if you want to talk about plant physiology, I'll go all night on that. I love physiology. I think function is so important. And so my tests are going to be a little bit more physiology, but we're going to have to memorize some pictures of bones and some anatomy. So it's a kind of a balance between structure and function, but they go together. Okay. Trees are tall for a reason. Muscles are the way they are for a reason. And as we go through this, I think y'all will see those 2 tied together. And then she talks about visual and auditory learners. Okay. Okay, let me tell you what has worked for me over the years. As we do this today, and by the way, don't worry about chapter 1. Very little actual information in chapter 1. What I stumbled into years ago teaching is as I go through this, I'm going to say some stupid, crazy story from my life or some friend of mine, and then that is going to put a neuron in your brain to make you remember that fact. And so when you're taking the test, you're going to go, that stupid story about the camp director who got poison oak all over his body and had to go to the hospital because he's super allergic to that. Oh, that's how the immune system works. And those connectors are how you learn things. And so you don't learn people's names till you can put 4 or 5 things with them. And that's how the brain works. And I was at a conference a couple years ago with the head of Pearson, which is the largest book company in the world. And the brain neurology, which by the way, the brain is the last great unknown in the human body. We don't understand the brain. That chapter is so not known. It's just crazy. But they're saying the more links you can make between a fact, the more likely you are to recall it on test. And so people that are brilliant are just wired better than I am, and they recall things quicker. Some people have a photographic memory. I don't have one. I have to have a lot of links to pull things back up. And so what I stumbled into, my method of teaching seems to help people recall things years later a lot better than just memorizing and forgetting it. So if you don't like stories, you probably shouldn't take me, but I'm going to cut the stories down because we do have limited time in the summer. But I will tell some funny stuff that help you remember it. And it's just the way I teach. It makes it personal, but it also puts connectors, neuronal synapses in your brain that make you recall it. Okay. But I like animation, so I do a lot of visual animation in here. And I'm going to play some of the animation that you have in that study area and mastering. Okay, you got it. But then I'll put a Mississippi tint on it where maybe I can translate it. Now, guys, look, I'm ugly and I'm old, but I tell you what, I think my one gift is several of y'all in here have over a 30 ACT. I didn't make a 30. Okay, I'm like a 22, 23. Okay, I can explain it to where I can make y'all enjoy it, but that 18 ACT person, I can speak it at a level they understand because I am from Mississippi and we have a different dialect a lot of times in the South. Amen to that. Amen. So I think I can explain it. If you give me your effort and you study hard, you will do well in this class. Okay, just ain't no way around it. Okay, but I do think that's my one gift. I don't want, if I thought I had one gift that God gave me, is I can relate things to people, and I think that maybe hopefully I can do that. Okay, I'm skipping through a lot of this. Blah 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 blah. Now she's talking about some things in the book. There are concept boosts, there are flashbacks, because a lot of this is going to carry over. So if you get a real good A&P 1, A&P 2 is going to make a lot more sense. There's some apply to what you learn. The book is very graphical. This is just a picture of the book, but take a look and you can see these concept boosts. Go back over. If you've ever wondered why drugs can't get in the brain real well, this explains it. We have what's called a blood-brain barrier that prevents large molecules from leaving the blood and going into the brain. The only place to see actually the brain and the testes both have that barrier. Interesting enough, in the testicle, think about this. All those sperm would be alien to your body and you would attack it if it weren't for this barrier. So blood never comes in contact with those sperm, or you would have a reaction you don't want to know about. And it happens, it's bad. Okay, but that same thing with drugs for the brain. So only small drugs can get into the brain because look, normal blood vessels look like this. The brain has these astrocyte cells that make it real hard for things to leave the blood and go to the brain. Isn't that cool? That's kind of cool, isn't it? But anyway, but these are just some, she's just showing you how the book works. A lot of visual art with step art. I like that. I like the step art. Okay. All right. I think we're now back to class. Okay. So this is actually gets down to the stuff here. And I'm going to pull on over to a picture here. I think these are summarized, and I just lied. Never mind. I'm backing up. Okay. So right off the bat, just a couple quick terms. I'm just going to go through these kind of quick, but y'all know that the basic unit of life is the cell. Okay. So if you didn't know this, this is pretty cool. All living things are made out of cells. So chapter 3 is a whole chapter dedicated to the cell. You're made out of about 100 trillion cells. Every one of them have the original DNA that came together when your mama and dad conceived you in her fallopian tubes 18 years ago. That is one of the coolest things I'm going to teach you in chapter 3 is that you were one cell and now you're 100 trillion cells, each with the same genetic code as that first cell when you conceived. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. It's one of my favorite chapters about how that happens. But that's the smallest unit of life is the cell. We are all made out of what? Chemicals. There are 92 different elements on Earth. 92 types. And I use this phrase, and some of the young people don't know what I'm talking about, but there are 92 different tinker toys. Everybody remember what tinker toys are? Okay, how about Lego? Lego blocks. Everybody got Lego blocks? There are 92 different Lego blocks in the universe, and everything is made out of combination of these Lego blocks. So we're going to do some basic chemical rules tomorrow. That's chapter 2. So you see, this chapter is what? It goes over everything, but don't really give you anything. This is a introduction chapter, so we're going to go through it kind of quick. But just we'll talk about chemicals, and metabolism is all the reactions in your body that keep you alive. So all the chemical reactions together are called metabolism, and that's a loaded word, right? It's misquoted a lot on media. Metabolism, right? So what does Robin need to do to lose weight? Speed up his metabolism, right? Okay, and we'll talk about that. Okay. All living things grow. This picture last night when I was up here looking, that little picture of my daughter, she was 15 in that picture on canvas, and now she's 20. She's a young woman now. I got to update those pictures. We all grow. We all grow. Okay, here's some more fun stuff. We all excrete. I love my job. I get to talk about diarrhea and constipation. We're going to talk about micturition. Right? For those who don't know, that's a number. That's a number 1, right? Urinating, and then number 2 is defecation, right? So what's gas? I've got a number for it. I call it 1.5 because it rounds up to 2 when you get older. Okay, moving on. You'll catch that on the way home. Okay, when you cut off. All right, everybody moves. All living things have movement, and we have to use movement to push things through the body. But one of the characteristics of life of living animals is movement. I've already talked about that. Everybody has to, if everybody don't reproduce, then the species dies. Let's keep that in mind. If we all decide not to reproduce, then they'll find us like Mars in a million years, just a big old red rock, right? Okay, so reproduction is important. It is the number 1 pastime in Mississippi, though, recreational activity. So we need to work on that. You know, we lead the nation in teen pregnancy. We're number 1. Go Mississippi, right? Sorry. All right, now watch this next thing. This is really cool. Levels of organization. This is the one I was skipping over to because I've got one picture. But look at this. This is a picture showing all this. Really kind of cool. So we're made out of chemicals, right? Those 92 elements. They come together to form the cellular level, which is the smallest unit of life. You know, a cell. We'll look at a cell in lab probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Tissues are groups of cells working together to do a job, and that's going to be our main midterm in lab. Tissues come together to form organs. Organs come together to form organ systems, and organ systems come together to make an organism. So every A&P book ever written, guess what they do? They have a cell chapter, they have an introduction, they have a chemistry chapter. Probably want to have an energy chapter, which this one don't. They put it later on in digestion. But then the whole book is broken down into systems. So what we're going to do is cover all these organ systems, and that's your book. And I'm sorry, I'm looking to the right because I'm looking at all y'all's faces over on the right. Maybe I need to move my camera over here. Does that look better? Yeah, I'm looking stupid. Yeah, let me do that. Okay, is that a little bit better? So I'm looking at y'all right now. I like that because I missed that interaction. So is everybody cool? Isn't this kind of cool? The whole book is going to be looking at these organ systems. Now here's the part that blows my mind. I would have thought y'all would know these, right? You will be shocked how many people miss these on the test. So I'm going to put these organ systems on the test, and let's see if you know them or not. Let's see if we can go through them. Okay, what we got here? Integumentary is skin. Okay, now how many of y'all, if you, of course we can't travel right now, but if this thing ends with the pandemic, in Las Vegas, the casino that has the pyramid, Lexar or whatever, they had the human body exhibit. And I've seen it in Chicago and New York City. And these Germans figured out a way to plasticize the human body. And so me and my best friend, Bill Legg, and his wife, who's a nurse, and my oldest daughter were in Vegas on a trip, and I always flew into Vegas and do a show and then go see Death Valley or go somewhere in the desert or something. We went to the body exhibit, and it's like $40 a piece. My best friend, the accountant, in 15 minutes said, y'all are sick, and he left it. He just went and sat down. And me and my daughter, who is a biologist, and his wife, the nurse, spent 4 hours in there. They had a room, they had a human skin pulled out and laid on the table, plasticized. And at the end, they had a room where you could hold the organs. They had every human embryo from 1 day on, lined up all the way to an adult. They cut a guy in half, you could walk through him. Blew my mind. I'll use a lot of references to that. But the skin is the largest organ in the human body by weight. Did you know that? Isn't that crazy? And its purpose is to protect the body. You cannot live without skin. It's a very short chapter. It's a very easy chapter, but it's very important. Skeleton. This is structural support, protection, right? And mineral storage, okay? And here's another one. A lot of people don't know this one. You can't have movement without bone. You can't have movement without muscles. So the old cliche, which came first, the chicken or egg? Here's a good one. What came first, the bone or the muscle? You can't have one without the other. You can't have movement without a movement. The muscle moves, but the anchor is the bone. It is the bones that move. Our filing lab is going to be the bones. And it is epically difficult. I've been doing that for 30 years. I'm going to try something new with y'all this month, exclusively for my day students. Okay. And it's probably going to be a little bit easier. May even have a virtual file that you come in and take it with me. But anyway, we'll talk more about that. But I love the skeleton. A lot of fun. Muscular. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I skip a little bit here because muscles can be so in-depth that you can take a whole course that goes a whole year on muscles. We're going to do a quick overview of muscles. We're going to go dive into physiology, but we'll make you learn the basic external muscles for one of our quizzes in class and for the lab. But all of us probably Northwest probably back off this a little bit because you could actually take in senior college, you can take a course that does nothing but muscle. Muscles are way more, we're going to slack a little bit there. Nervous system, I told you in each chapter, we cover, I would say, there's been no, okay, let me back up. Let's try this out. There's been no new bone discovery in like 100 years. Okay? We're not going to discover a new muscle. But the nervous system is still 30% unknown. Nobody can explain to me grandmama's biscuits and salmon biscuit and that memory of your childhood. Nobody can write that on a board. Nobody can inject that into you yet. But I do think we'll get memory transfer at some point. I have no doubt that before y'all die, A&P will be like the Matrix with a stick and just throw it into your brain, okay? It's probably coming. But until we get that, we have to do it the old way. We have to beat it in by memorizing and studying things. But one of my favorite chapters, though, there's like 4 chapters on the nervous system in your book, okay? And here you can see the nerves running through the body. Regulate the body, controls movement, higher functions, personality, IQ, all that's in the brain. Intelligence. This is A&P 2. I love the endocrine system. How many of y'all have done this? This is one of my favorites. These are all the hormones we make. So here are all the glands in your body that make hormones. Hormones are chemicals that travel through the blood, bind to a cell, and make them do something they would not normally do. Okay? So last night when I got up this morning, I shaved under here because I grew hair because the testosterone got in my bloodstream from my testicle, went up here, left my face, went out and made me grow hair. Faith did not have to shave this morning, right? Very likely because she doesn't produce high levels of testosterone because she probably don't have testicles, right? Okay, so there we go. We're not going to discuss that. We're not going to find out for sure, Faith. Okay, but and that you ever wonder why Daddy had to shave and you don't? Now that brings me a great question. What about Aunt Sue that's got the hairy face? Aunt Sue has an adrenal problem right here. Look, that makes her make too much testosterone, and it does make her grow hair on her face. There is a group of people in South America that are called the wolf people, and they have a severe adrenal disorder, and they are shaggy. They have full body hair like Bigfoot. And before, when I was younger and Sean and I were younger, you could go to the fair and see these carny people, and you would pay $5 to see Wolf Boy and Wolf Girl. And I got no problems, man. If you got some special genetic ability and you're hairy and you can make money, dude, that's called NBA, right? If I was 7 foot tall, I'd be in the NBA. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So if you got some God-given genetic abnormality, then use it to make money. Go for it, right? But anyway, I just find that really cool to me. But I love this chapter. This is one I don't get in high school a lot. So I think y'all really will enjoy this one next month with Miss Nickens. But this is actually A&P 2 chapter. Okay. Cardiovascular is A&P 2, also with the heart and all the blood vessels. Here's another one that nobody knows all about. Did you know you got another set of tubes in your body that carry excess fluid back to the heart? And they're not green, but they're in green in every book. Would you like to know why they're green? Because the first dude or dudette to draw them green. I'll tell a little bit here, not to brag here, but I did have a last 5 years, me and 2 coworkers have written the A&P book we're going to be using in the lab, system-wide. And I cannot tell you how much I learned in helping write this book. 3 of us spent 6 years writing this lab book, and there ain't nothing green in the lymphatic system except that, but somebody drew it green because the arteries are red and veins are blue. So it's kind of funny to me how that works. But this is a set of tubes that carry excess fluid back to the heart. And we'll talk a lot about that in A&P 2. Very important one. Okay. Oh, now I've lost spot here. Okay. And then, of course, respiratory. We'll talk about that. Breathing is super important. We have to have oxygen in order to break down food. So we have to have oxygen. And we have to get rid of CO2. Oh, my favorite one, digestion. We got to have food for energy. That supplies food. Food is power. And so digestion is breaking things down and put them in the bloodstream so we can use that for energy. And for Robbie, when I overeat too many of them little white donuts, then the liver converts it to fat and we strategically locate it around your waist and other strategic body parts, right? Okay. So anyway, digestion is very cool. She is going to, Ammerman, the only thing I don't like about this book, I think it's a great book, it's a great read too, it reads really well, is she does energy after digestion because food is energy. I really like it in A&P 1 after the chemistry chapter because it's a pretty evil chemistry that Miss Nickens will have to cover with y'all that I don't have to cover, so I guess I should be happy since I'm not teaching part 2. But the energy chapter in A&P 2 is kind of tricky. Urinary system, one of my very best friends had to have a kidney a year ago. He knew he had a genetic disease and he was on dialysis and he got a kidney about a year, it'll be 2 years ago this Christmas. So we'll talk about that. That is to filter out waste products out of our blood and excrete it into the outside world. Of course, we've already talked about reproductive system, male, female are different, right? Okay, as we know, we'll talk about that more about that, but we know that is for reproduction and for the sex hormones, right? Okay, and then the next part, they do this, and we're actually going to do a lab. Y'all going to fill out a lab. And so I'm going to do these kind of quick, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put a couple of these on the test. Now, before somebody asks me, let me go ahead and tell you this. I love y'all. Okay, this is college. This is not high school. My wife taught high school. She taught kindergarten, and I have the utmost respect for high school teachers. Do not take this the wrong way. But this system of testing and state testing and No Child Left Behind, all of that has led to y'all have been taught very well how to memorize 20 terms, and you've been told you're a rock star, and you've been taught how to take the ACT, and you got okay. I ain't telling you I'm not going to tell you the terms going to be on the test. You need to know chapter 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to give you the short answers in class. I would say 90% of my terms are ones I mentioned, but I'm going to flip through a bunch of these, and I'm just going to randomly pick 2 or 3 of these anatomical terms and put on the test to see who put the time in to learn it. Okay, is that cool? And I'm not telling you that's just the way I was taught. And let me just tell you, let me just give y'all a big warning. Nursing school, a lot of nurses ain't good teachers. Okay. You're going to have to teach yourself. I can help you. Some of them, you just got to take the material and let me give you the magic word, study group. Get in a study group. There is actually a way I think I'm going to figure out. I can turn this on Zoom where y'all can actually break out in study groups and come in together and Zoom without me. So I'm going to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to set it up where y'all can, we bought this. I think that's what I had to update to. We bought professional Zoom and it allows y'all to do study groups. So y'all can have a little Zoom meeting and I think that's kind of cool. But I would see who makes 100 on the first test, and that'd be my best friend. That's what I would do. And actually, I say that, but my second year at Northeast Community College, when I was very age, I bumped into a guy that came up and told me I'm I'm going to blow you out of this class. I'm going to make better than you. And I said, bring it on. And he did beat me in the class. But I was best man at his wedding. He's a doctor in Boonville today. And he's the smartest person I've ever met or taught or been in class with. And so it just happened that I quickly became his best friend. He taught me a lot of biology and a lot of chemistry. So you don't learn until you teach something. And so teach each other is a good move of that. Okay. So let's look at a couple of these that are kind of cool. Surface anatomy, y'all know about that. Gross anatomy, we're going to do some of that. And we're going to start out in A&P Tuesday with microscopic anatomy. We're going to look at the tissues. And one of my favorite terms, histology, is not the study of history. It should be. Histology is the study of tissues. Okay. And so all these tissues that the human body is made out of, we're going to spend about a week on them. Cytology would be the study of cytoplasm. Okay. Physiology, there's whole branches of physiology, neurophysiology, cardiophysiology, and then this language of this. Take a look at these terms. Anatomical means toward the front. Posterior means toward the back. Superior, means above. Inferior means below. Proximal means closer. Distal means farther away. And actually, you have little tables in your book. I'm going to pull a few of these out for definitions or multiple choice, but not a lot of it. But this is the language of medical school. This is the language of nursing. So when you're doing those charts in nursing, you have to use these terms. You can't say on Robin's front. You got to say anterior. And now they got them on iPads, you just click it. And I know I still make y'all spell a lot. There've been a lot of people being killed by poor spelling by doctors and nurses. I think we're going to, and I'm not a good speller. So going forward, probably in the future, we'll have more multiple choice. We don't have to spell as much. But the internet ain't going to work one day and you got to write down that drug. So your body still needs to spell a little bit. But anyway, here's some of the terms that you just need to kind of know, and it'll help you understand the book a little bit better. Here's some cool one here. This used to be my quiz for about 15 years in A&P 1. This is my first quiz until I got a parent called me up and got into it with me, so I quit doing it. But I just took this naked, actually in the old book, it was a boy. And so most of y'all are girls taking this class. So the first quiz would be naked boy. And of course, that led to, how can I study for this, Mr. Robin? Well, you can get you some sticky pads and go to your husband and label him if you wanted to. But only if you're married, right? I don't do this with your boyfriend. You go get me in trouble. But anyway, but you can see these are the fancy names for the different parts of the body. Head is cephalic, sternal, pelvic, inguinal area, pubic. The palm is palmar, which is kind of weird, I thought. Pedal at the bottom of the foot, that's kind of weird. Plantar. Has anybody in here ever had plantar's warts? I did. I went to, now don't laugh. Y'all can laugh at me if you want to. I went to a basketball camp one year because I was going to be an NBA ball player. And I went to the dorm in Northeast and got warts when I got home. And I went to the doctor and he looked at my feet and said, take your shoes off, so young man. I put my feet up and he jumped back and screamed, you never want to hear this in the hospital. If you ever hear this, it's going to be a bad day. He went, damn, that's the worst I've ever seen. You never want that at the hospital, right? He's looking at your test results. Dang, that's the worst I've ever seen. So I jumped back and he goes, them's the worst case of plantar's warts I've ever seen. And I went, man, I hate being on a farm. I got them on the farm because plantars means farming. And he goes, you fat, dumb boy, plantar means bottom of foot. So there's where I learned that anatomy term, okay? And he gave me a knife and some acid. And I ended up infecting my feet, getting an infection down there. He don't give me a knife and so burn something off. That did not work well. Back of the knees, popliteal, gluteal, y'all know that one, sacral, lumbar, pretty cool, cervical, neck. Most of those y'all have heard of, but some of those may be new. Octic is ear, buccal is cheek. Pretty cool. Here's a new one for me, this new book. The hallux is the big toe. I didn't do that one. I had never, and the big thumb, the thumb is pollic. Kind of weird. I didn't know those until 4 years ago with this new book. So you kind of learn the book that you're in. And this is about my 6th year of this book. I'm still learning this book. This is a much deeper book than the one we used before. Got great tables in here. You got these. Put it together. I'm going to skip some of this. Some of y'all may be in X-ray technology, right? And look at these different planes. You can do an MRI, a mid-sagittal MRI, sagittal. There's a frontal MRI, looking for that brain tumor that maybe went Robin crazy. Here's a transverse. And I find this really cool. And some of y'all, and look, I always say this here at this point too. Y'all may decide nursing ain't what you want to do. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I wanted to be a doctor and I didn't do good on the MCAT because I memorized things. I did get to where after I taught a few years, I said I could go back to med school. I think I can do it now when I was ready and mature and learn my biology. But I thought, I don't really want to be responsible for people dying. I'll just teach people. And I like my job. But y'all may not want to be a nurse. You may not want to clean rear end, right? Maybe you want to be an x-ray technologist, right? And read this stuff and do the x-rays. There's a whole lot of stuff in medicine that ain't always nursing. I have a lot of students that go into a med tech, and you're doing the test. Every hospital in America has a med tech, probably 3 or 4 of them making 50 to 80,000 a year. Not getting rich, but they have a nice steady job, and they do the microscope work, checking pap smears, and they do the test. They do the COVID-19 test this week. They're the ones doing the test, not in front of the patient, but they're in the lab. And these are all great jobs. So, hey, I know it's crazy. I know it's fast in summer, but if anybody in here goes after a couple of days and goes, hey, I need to talk to somebody about it. Maybe I finished the class, but I want to do this something. I've been doing this for 29 years. I'll be glad to help y'all and advice on your career. That's part of our job, and we seem to sometimes forget that. Eras. Oh my gosh, look at that. Medical areas. Large studies found 0.5% of medical areas were the wrong site, wrong body part. I get one story, and I got a bunch of them. This is well documented about 15 years ago. Dude had cancer in his leg, in his thigh, and it was fit to spread to his whole body, killing this down in Florida. They come in, and the nurse, they're gonna remove his right leg, and the nurse walks in and goes, right means my right, and shaves his left leg when he was under anesthesia, marks with a Sharpie pen where to cut it all off. Doctor probably got into a fight with his wife or her husband that weekend. He comes in, he didn't double check it. His nurse never makes mistakes, removing, left leg, the paper said right leg, he didn't read it. He cut the dude's good leg off. This is what happened. They done incinerated it before they discovered their mistake. So if you're ever in the hospital and they wake you up and there's a bunch of people with suits around you, this is not going good for you. And they go, Mr. Robinson, we accidentally cut your wrong leg off and we've already destroyed it and we're so sorry, but we're going to put you back to sleep and we're going to get the right one now. Go get this cancer out of you. There is a man in Florida who has no legs because they cut the wrong legs off, but he owns a hospital, by the way. You never see this in the paper because they just get the checkbook out. What's a leg worth? 5 million, 10 million. Okay, but it happens every day, and it's usually the simple thing like that. The nurse got the left, right, wrong. It's always the patients. When we're dissecting the cat or whatever later, the pen, if it's in the left carotid artery, it's the cat's left, not your left. Cat's left. I'm a cat. It's gonna be over here. But here's the thing: we got a lot of really good, smart people in here. Don't miss the easy stuff and kill somebody because you got the right, left, or the dosage wrong, right? And hey, and this is something somebody told me a long time ago. You know what they call a person who makes a C in nursing? They call them nurse, RN. And so I kind of like, if I'm going to go to the hospital, I think I'd rather see a B student with common sense than a Doogie Howser genius that don't know it's raining or not. You know what I mean? They don't know, so don't worry, whatever, that has no common sense. So you can be a great nurse and not be the smartest person in the world, okay? Because practical knowledge and common sense go a long way at the hospital, I think. But anyway, but that's a good little comment here in the book about ERA. So get it right, get the little stuff right. Body cavities, I'm not gonna, and look, I will tell you, none of this is gonna be labeling on your, I'm not gonna make you do any of this on the first test. In other words, I always tell you what pictures are coming. Is that cool? So you'll know the pictures are coming. But I'm gonna make you do a lab where you're gonna fill all this out and turn it in for a grade. So we're gonna do some busy work, homework. But we're gonna do a little busy work for an easy grade. But look at these cavities. Here's a cool one that you may not have seen before. You have a little cavity here called the mediastinum right here. There's a spot right here. It's like God had a plan for an organ and he just went, never mind. But but you got the pelvic, the thoracic cavities for the lungs, and of course the cardiovascular cavity here, pericardium. But there's a little hole right here, right above the heart. We don't got much going on there. Pelvic, abdominal, pretty straightforward on these. Nothing much here. Just the cavities. Here's one. A lot of people come back and tell me they do this every day in the hospital. Where does it hurt? Left upper quadrant, right upper quadrant. So you're gonna have to use these in the hospital on the iPads nowadays. Here's a little bit deeper one here. Look at these: hypergastric, hypochondric, epigastric, umbilical, lumbar, iliac, and I love this one: hypogastric, much gas region. That hypo means much, so I guess that's where gas originates. The quadrant's another one here, nothing much here. Here's one of the pictures I thought was really cool. That's one of the reasons we like this book. Look at this. One of the hardest things to try to explain to people when we get to the heart, and all of your cavities look like this. And I'll give you a good example. How many of y'all have ever used catfish, chicken livers to go fishing? Or you ever held chicken before you fry it? It's got a little skin over it. There's like a plastic layer covering all the organs. And that's called the visceral. That is a membrane that lines all the organs. So all of your abdominal organs, if you ever gutted a deer, all the organs shine because they're covered with a membrane called a visceral. That's it right here. But every cavity in your body is lined by another one called the parietal. So your entire abdominal cavity has a lining on the inside of it, and this is all to prevent infection and stuff. But it's so hard to explain, but this picture really made me want to go use this book. Imagine a water balloon, and you stick the heart down in it. The part of the balloon touching the heart is the visceral, and the parietal is lining the whole cavity. And a lot of times there's fluid in here in between to lubricate it. So that heart doesn't get a carpet burn as it violently beats every few minutes. Isn't that brilliant? So, I mean, there's brilliant design here and what God did here, because that heart is violently pumping. But why don't we get carpet burn? And we've all slid across carpet and got a big old rash, right? Or sliding into cherry, sliding into, sliding into second base or whatever. So God lines these organs so they can move around while you're driving around town and bang each other without hurting each other. And I just think it's cool. Everybody catch that? So it's a double membrane, but it's really one membrane, right? Everybody see that? It's one membrane on the outside, but this organ is pushing through it, so it touches it. The part touching it is the visceral, and the outer edge is now the parietal. Not a big test question, but it's just one of those things you're going to hear for your entire medical career. You're going to talk about visceral, and oh yeah, Sean, question. I didn't see that. What's up, bro?
Does that visceral membrane, does that also keep muscles from growing together or growing into bone? Or
Yes, exactly. So we see that on a lot of the muscles have that. That's that shiny layer on that chicken muscle before you drop it in the fryer. You know what I mean? So, but I always think about chicken livers. If you ever use chicken livers, once you start cutting them, they fall apart. So that visceral is what holds it together. Yes, it does. And so now Sean hit on one of my favorite things. So guess what gristle is? Gristle is some of these membranes that keep the muscles organized. So a gristle in a piece of meat is some of these little membranes that separate the muscles. Yeah, we're gonna do legs and low on. I never have seen country ham the same because I can't do country ham without trying to name the muscle. Because you can see the 3 or 4 muscles in that leg of the pig. I'm sorry. It just, I relate to food a lot, as y'all can tell. Okay, but that's good. Good question, Sean. That's exactly right. Okay. Others here, y'all just kind of look through this and name some of these. Now, look, I don't know why every book does this. We're almost through, y'all, with this chapter. But look, every book has a chainsaw picture. If you see somebody like this in the hospital, go to the next patient. They're dead. You know what I mean? But for some reason, they're fascinated with these chainsaw pictures. But it's just showing you the heart, lungs, and you can see that bit, kind of what you're asking about, Sean. See how those viscerals and parietal membranes are one touching the organ is the visceral, and the one in that cavity is called the pleural. So parietal pleural lines the lung cavity, et cetera, et cetera. Here we go, a little bit lower chainsaw here. Oh, horizontal chainsaw. And here, and this is kind of a cool one here, where you might want to do different types of images. Here's an X-ray, and here is that CAT scan where you can see all the organs. It's amazing what you can do. Matter of fact, one of the things y'all might find interesting here is usually, with this pandemic going on, everything, y'all know the hospitals are going broke right now, right? Y'all know that, right? Nobody's going to the hospital unless they're dying because they're scared to go get corona. My buddy I was talking about earlier, he normally sees 25 people a day. He's been seeing 6 a day since March. He's a pediatrics, internal medicine, both. But usually in the summer, Baptists will run a special. You get an MRI for like $200. Just a non-needed MRI to see if you're about to have an aneurysm, see if you got a tumor starting, see how your heart looks, see if your blood vessels are ready to blow. I am 25% hypochondriac. I got a brother that's 100% hypochondriac. He's probably had 3 of these done. But you can drop a little bit of money and they can do a scan of your basic body to see if things are going to go bad. Okay, and that's something you might want to do at some point, especially if you're hypochondriac. But I show these and they put them in here because some of y'all may want to do this for a living. This is a cool thing, being an X-ray technologist. but the one who actually reads X-ray is a doctor called a radiologist, right? So just know that there are differences on those. Hang on, I've got to have this button right. Okay, and then the last little part of this is a little bit cheesy to me. I call it, if it's cheesy, I call it cheesy. But she tried to be really cool in her book, and she talked about some overlying themes of the human body. And I'm not a total 100% of what she does here, but I'll go with her. But homeostasis is really important. Homeostasis means to maintain an internal level of something. And our whole body work on it. The brain maintains temperature, blood pH, 30 or 40 different chemical electrolytes. All these things have to be in balance, or we die or we get sick. So homeostasis means to maintain a constant level. And the best example is temperature. Body temperature or the heating and cooling in your house. If it gets hot, the air conditioner kicks in. If it gets cold, the heater kicks in. So we have these feedback loops that allow us to do that. Now here is the thing I think is going to be really fun. We'll have a little let's be phone in on. Most of the body works off negative feedback. So in other words, if you get too much of chemical A, the brain says quit making A. Now here's the best example of negative feedback, and y'all just don't get mad at me. But remember, my favorite chapter was what? Reproduction. So this has a little bit of reproduction on it, okay? But how many of y'all been on a date and had the boy put his hand on your leg during the movie, or you may have put your hand on a girl on her leg, and she slapped the crap out of you? That's negative feedback. That's negative feedback, right? You grab a hot fence on a dairy farm that's electric fence, you do not grab it again, okay? I've never used those dog shock collars, but I hear they work really good because the dog gets shocked if he crosses the line, right? Your body uses negative feedback to cut systems off. So, I mean, 99, matter of fact, I can't think of about 3 positive feedbacks in the human body. So almost every one of them is negative feedback. And here, let me show you the loop, like this. If it gets cold, the heater kicks in. If it gets too hot, the air kicks in. Oh, I'm looking at my thermometer over here on my, and it's really nice and cool in the Northwest. I'm spending money on that air conditioner today. But everything in your body works by negative feedback. And I know that's a bad one, but you probably have gotten spanked by your mama at some point, slapped on your hand or something, right? Okay, so negative feedback is the main way that our body controls homeostasis. So what would be a positive feedback in the human body? Well, they give one down here. When we bleed, we coagulate. Blood coagulation is a fascinating positive feedback. You cut your hand, you bleed a little bit, and we stop it, and we only stop it right here, because if we stop it in all of our body, we're dead. We're dead quickly. Okay, a stroke is a floating blood clot that goes to the brain and clogs the blood flow to the brain. So if you don't know what a stroke is, you learned something this morning. A stroke is a blood flow problem in the brain due to a clot catching in a small capillary bed in your brain. And if we don't dissolve it within a couple of hours, then that part of that brain will never work right again. So and brain don't regrow, by the way, FYI. So you can't regrow brain very well. So that's some really good positive feedback. What's another one?
Birth.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any money? Look, I have been at Walmart and I have raised 2 grown ladies. I have a 28-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old daughter. I have been to Walmart when they knocked everything over, and I was the guy going, "Whose kid's that?" and walked off. So I have denied my children are being mine. So in other words, if some of y'all don't want to admit you have a kid, that's okay. But do we have a mom in the room that would go along with me here? Do we have a mother in the room that is not ashamed of their child today? It's okay. Okay, don't have any mamas in the room. Okay, that's okay. If you got a kid, look, I ain't judging nobody. If you had a kid and you're in high school, then hey, you're just gonna get to see your grandkids. I'm never gonna get to meet mine, so I'm jealous. Okay. Anyway, because my wife, my oldest is married, don't want to have kids. There we go. There's a little boy. Okay, Sean, tell them, when your wife went into labor, how it just got easier and easier and easier, didn't it? No, I just lied. I lied.
No.
Okay, here's what happens, girls. We still don't know this. 2020, we cannot predict this. The baby in your uterus goes, it's time to come out. It sends a message to the brain that says, give me oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone made in your posterior pituitary gland. It goes in your blood down to your uterus, and it causes it to contract. And then your uterus goes, is that all you got, big boy? Give me more, and you get more and more oxytocin until you chomp the baby out your vagina. Is that clear? I used all medical terms. I can say that. It's in the book. It's crazy. I strongly recommend everybody in here witness a childbirth at least once. It is one of the true miracles, I believe, on earth. When you cut that cord and that baby goes all on board systems, it's kind of like me watching the new spacecraft on Saturday. I cried watching them go into space because I'm a big fan of science. It's been 9 years since America put anybody in space. So it's a bad week in America for other things, but I was excited for our space program and for Elon Musk and SpaceX. We now have citizens going into space. But that is the deal, man. Think about that. This hormone level goes up and it's positive feedback. Now, here's my joke, and y'all forgive me, and we're not going to go here. We're not going here, but I'm going to give you a thought. What's the other positive feedback? And there ain't but one other one I know in the body, maybe two. What got that girl pregnant to begin with? Think about it. Be careful playing with loaded guns, okay? Okay. Everything else in the body is negative. Isn't that crazy? Everything else is negative, okay? Okay? So anyway, that's pretty cool. So negative feedback is the norm, but positive, blood coagulation, childbirth, and the release of sperm or the completion of a sex act, hopefully. Okay, whatever. All right, anyway, kind of wild. And she does mention it here. There's coagulation, there's oxytocin, there's that one. Very cool. Matter of fact, my wife had to get the pig toxin because she didn't want to go into labor, so they give you pig or synthetic oxytocin to make you go into contractions. So we can trigger the woman to go into labor by giving her the hormones that naturally she would get from her brain. So that's pretty fascinating to know that we do that. But y'all need to be aware of these things, okay? Okay, pretty wild. And I guess the other one that comes to my mind is when a woman is feeding her child. When you're breastfeeding and that woman hears a baby cry, her brain says, ooh, baby hungry, and the hormone makes the milk come out. So that is a positive feedback too. Pretty wild. But not many of them. Most always negative. Okay. Then she did these core principles. So we got here are core structure and function match each other. And so anywhere you see this little symbol right here, this means function matches structure and function match each other. And here's a good example. The cells in the alveoli of the lung, when we do the gas exchange, are thin. If they're real thick, we would die, right? And actually, guys, look, this COVID-19, here's what it does. COVID-19 prevents this from happening. So here's one from my doctor. This is really scary. The ventilators are useless for COVID-19. They're not helping them. Yeah. They're giving it to them as a last resort, and they're not having trouble breathing. They're having trouble getting the gas exchange. Breathing is getting the air down here to this lung and getting it into the blood. The problem is the virus is destroying this membrane, so you can't get the simple diffusion of gas in and out. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. Here's what my smartest person I know says. What you really need is a hyperbaric chamber, like a pressure cooker, and force the oxygen in the blood. And they ain't probably 100 in America. And I assure you Bill Gates has got one, right? But basically, if we had those, y'all know people that dive up and down divers that come up too quick, they get that, the bends, and they put them in like a big old, those long lungs, like from the old C-50s, those iron lungs. They put you in basically a pressure cooker, and they force oxygen into your body, and that allows you to get over the bends. Same thing here. COVID patients that have been put into into these hyperbaric chambers and pressurized, they can get the gas in. They're very expensive, and notice no government official is trying to build any. I find it quite ironic that no one's trying to. Has anybody heard that yet? I hadn't heard that, only from a doctor. But it would case. I mean, they literally are $100,000 a piece. So anyway, thought that's kind of interesting. Go ahead, question. Anybody? Thought I heard somebody. All right, we're getting close, guys. I'm sorry, we almost got through our chapter here. And then gradients. We use the gradients a lot. Gradients is anything from high to low. Everything. And look, and by the way, breathing is simple diffusion. The oxygen is high here, low here. Oxygen goes from high to low. CO2 leaves your blood and goes from high to low. Okay? So we use gradients all the time. Gradients to move temperature, concentration. The heart beating creates pressure that pushes the blood through your body. Here is a syringe. You push down on the plunger, you create pressure, and it shoots the drug into your vein. So we use gradients all the time. Gradients is another one of her core concepts. Cell communication is another cool one. Another good thing about this book, and I think most of y'all know, that most cells communicate by what? What's called a synapsis. So basically, I decide to move my arm. I send an electrical impulse down my arm, and then I release a chemical on the muscles that make my arm go up like that. Okay? So these are chemical synapses. So we release chemicals. Our brain is made out of, well, I'll give you a good one here, a good one kind of end on. Check this out. The number of neurons in your brain equal the number of trees in South America, in the rainforest. The number of synapses between the brain cells equal the number of leaves on the trees in the South American rainforest. And the difference between Robin's personality and Heather's is how she is wired with these synapses. So personality is just different wiring. And intelligence may be how quick you can come to an answer without firing as many neurons. Like for Robin, I may need 13, Nancy needs 5, and Hayden needs, 38. I'm just saying, picking on y'all. I love having y'all's names in front of y'all. I can pick on some of y'all. So intelligence, you may be a good test taker, but maybe you don't understand systems very well. So our whole education system is probably messed up. They're telling us in brain neurology, listen, this is what they're saying. We shouldn't even have a test this summer, and y'all were to come back next summer and take your file. And this is what they're saying. That person who makes a B next summer probably makes a C this month. And so what they're saying is, who's a better nurse? What you know 2 years from today, or what you can do on Wednesday? And think about it. So just because you make a B or C don't mean you can't be a good nurse. You might be a better nurse because you have more long-term memory than somebody that can just memorize something and throw it back out on test, which is how you've been trained to do high school. So a lot of colleges now are going to pass or fail, but and that's why the medical doctors have to go back and do what? Take tests over and over again, right? So Robin's not a doctor today because I failed the MCAT because I memorized everything. I'm going to beg y'all to start taking some of this to long-term memory. The big concepts. I mean, obviously, you don't need to know every bone the rest of your life, but you have to know it for the test. But just taking some of this to long-term memory will pay huge dividends later. Okay, is that pretty cool? So anyway, now watch this next one. Some of y'all have heard, how many of y'all heard of electrical transmission, electrical communication? We still got a minute. Okay, and that really blew my mind. Now, look, I've been teaching here 20 years. Heck, we just published a book with Pearson. We kind of supposedly educated people here, me and my coworkers. But the old book I taught out of didn't mention electrical. There is electrical communication, and this is between brain cells and muscle cells. The cardiac muscle cells have tunnels that allow ions to travel through, and that's how the heart beats in a rhythm movement. So it's not real electricity. It's not like spark plugs arcing, but it's ions moving through a tube real quick, and that is electrical transmission. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is there is no spark plugs in your body arcing off at night, like Christmas trees lighting up. It is an ion transmission found in the cardiac muscle and the brain, and then the muscles in the stomach that causes the stomach to roll when you're in the bed at night. You're like, why is it doing that, right? Okay, that is a special type of electrical transmission that is very quick, and we see it in the heart, and that's how the heart beats every 0.85 seconds. It uses this very weird, I'll show it to you, we'll see it in chapter on cell, but for years I would hear people talk about electrical transmission, and I didn't know because the book I taught out of didn't use it. And I will tell you that this book has really challenged me, and I'm not near as smart appearing to the students as I used to be in the old book, but I'd rather y'all learn new stuff than me be looking good. I want y'all to see what's out there. But that's electrical transmission. We'll talk about it later. So you'll see these pictures all through the book. Feedback loops, core principles. These are very important structure to function, gradients, and cell-to-cell communication. So anytime you see that, that's what they're talking about. And we'll see that those 4 themes all through the book. All right. So that's chapter 1. So what's y'all's takeaway from chapter 1? Know your organ systems, right? That's for sure. And I'm going to put some of those anatomical stuff on the test. But I'm not going to have any labeling pictures. We'll save that for lab. And y'all going to actually do them just to turn in for an easy grade. But so don't on Tuesday night, don't spend 8 hours going over anatomical stuff. That's 5, 10 points on the test. Make sure you know chapter 2 on chemistry. Chapter 2 is going to be the big one. We'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, let's talk to each other real quick. Anybody got a question? Now look, I really appreciate y'all, and I know that was not easy for y'all. But guys, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got a really good feeling this is the way everybody's gonna be teaching Northwest this fall. I mean, I can tell y'all. I mean, like I said, I am in. I'm not. Once again, guys, look. I want to get to know some of y'all. I'm not trying to be smart or anything. Like I said, don't ever read like I'm not bragging about this. It's just the way it is. I've been here. I'm the old man of science at Northwest, and I've been in charge of the sciences now for about 6 years. Okay, and I've seen everything. I've never seen anything like last semester. But I was in a meeting a couple weeks ago with the president, so I'm at that level where I'm in the meetings, but I don't get asked a whole lot, you know. But if it's science, something they'll ask me, and I guess I kind of speak for everybody. And I was told Friday that they took the calendar down. Don't plan no trip for spring. Do not buy no Disney tickets for spring break. If you're a Northwest student next year, I think we're going to be taking finals that week, and we're going to. They're looking at redoing our calendar, and we'll start like August 15th. We'll be through on Wednesday of Thanksgiving, and grades will be turned in like the next Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll do an intersession where you can take maybe 2 classes over Christmas online. And I'm going to have to really work on developing these labs online. I'm going to have to cross some boundaries I don't want to, but we're going to probably do some intersession and come back probably end of January, maybe late January, maybe in February, and do a February, March, April, May second semester. And so the idea is we may see a lot of colleges going to 4 8-week semesters over the year, and you just do the 3 you want to do. Or if you really, and I do think we need to quit thinking about. You shouldn't have to take 16 weeks to take class if you don't want to, right? We're doing it in what, 8? Actually, we're doing this in 4 weeks. Okay. So why do we make somebody do it? So I think we as schools have got to stop thinking about 8 weeks, 16-week, fall, summer. I think all that's fitting to fade away. I think a day will come where you can start A&P any day you want to and just finish it in 4 weeks. But like this allows us to have these communications. And I really like y'all ask me questions and stuff. I think that's part of education, is being able to see the teacher. I may even do this, guys. I mean, I'm going to do it like this, but I've got to have a way to write on the board. Can everybody see my cursor? Y'all can see the cursor, can't you? When I go to pen, it gets really weird, okay? Because I can't write with a mouse very well. So if we get something really hard, I may run to one of my rooms where y'all can watch me on a board. I can pull the PowerPoints up on I've got big flat screen TV monitors I can write on in all my classrooms. So I may just set the camera on the chair and let y'all watch me, and I can have this. I see y'all right now, all of you, like we do, you know, we're talking. I can have that on another monitor. All right. Any questions? I'm going to shut up. 10:04. Does anybody have a question? Crazy? Anybody got anything crazy they'd like to ask? Yes, ma'am. Yes, Ms. Brownlow. You can hold the space bar down.
Okay.
I guess
Oh, never mind. Now can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for the test, should we like focus on the systems and like what they do? Or I guess I'm just like really confused as to what from this chapter.
I mean, that's what they do and where they, you know, what makes them up. You know,
okay.
Cardiovascular, heart, pump blood. Yeah,
Gotcha.
real simple. Not very deep. No, not deep at all. But but look, Ms. Brownlee, you'd be surprised how many people get in this class and don't know about the lymphatic system, don't know what the immune system does, you know, defends the body from infections and stuff like that. Just basic little core stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna then a little bit of the anatomy stuff, the body parts, you know, the regions and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
That's good. But don't read too much into chapter 1. I think if you know, none of that teaching method crap, stuff on the first half. But definitely when we start with the terms, anatomy, physiology, homeostasis, stuff like that's really good. Okay. But like I said, 20% max from this chapter. Most of it will be a chemistry chapter, which is very doable tomorrow in 2 days. I think we got 2 days to do that, or 1 or whatever. Okay. Anybody else? Hey guys, I really look. I'm gonna let me run down the road real quick. I got a couple of people I don't think was in here the whole time, or at least let me just check. I should call roll. Okay, how about Megan? Megan, is it Balash? Is that right? Megan here? I don't think I've seen her.
No, I'm here.
Oh, where's Megan? Where you at, Megan?
Here.
Wave. I can't find you up here.
Ah.
Or maybe you're, I see you down there, Megan. Okay. I want to make it personal, so I don't get to see you. Okay. How about Sarah Jean? I think we talked on the phone. I think we talked to Sarah. Okay. And then Megan Boland. Okay. See Megan. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And then Brownlow. We were just talking. Okay. Very cool. Okay. And then Pamela Busby. Pam, I see Pam. I see Pam. I called her name. I saw her name. Okay, and Rosalind Carr. Okay, where's Rosalind? We have Rosalind. I'm making sure I don't have another page. Rosalind, I don't see Miss Carr. Okay, and then Melissa.
Here.
Okay. Okay, and then Clancy. Clancy. Hang on. Okay, and then Faith.
Here.
And then Gonzalez. I thought Miss
Here.
Yeah, I saw her earlier. Yep. Okay, and then Julian. We talked on the phone. Appreciate you, Julian. We had a good talk yesterday. Jasmine Harris. Jasmine. Okay, very cool. Okay, Molly Harris.
I'm here.
Thanks, Molly. Okay, and Michelle, is it Herrera? Herrera. Okay, I'll work on that. Thank you, Michelle. William Hooper or Hayden?
Here.
Hayden. Okay, thanks, Hayden. Kaylin Jones.
Here.
Okay. Okay, and then Jalen Joyner. Jalen. Okay, no Joyner. Okay, and then Zach. Okay, I see Zach. Okay, and then McCarthy.
Here.
Yeah, I had a good friend, McCarthy, in high school. McCullen. McCullen. Got McCullen anywhere? All right, we may have had less people than I thought here. Okay, and then McKinney.
Here.
Okay, Dr. Miss McKinney. Okay, and then Moffitt. Right, Bailey. All right, hang on. We got more than here than I thought. Heather Morgan. Heather. Woo, we lost some people. Okay, how about Emma? Uh-oh, make sure I'm in the right one here. Okay, and then Kelsey Page, they need to move. Jasmine Price.
Here.
See Jasmine, okay, and then Olivia Rose.
Here.
And I'll do this quicker, I promise, next time. Logan. Yeah, Logan.
I'm here.
Thank you, Logan. Okay, and then Talbert.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then Taylor Walker. Taylor Walker. Sadie Wilson.
Here.
Okay, Sadie, and
Here.
then Nancy. I saw Nancy earlier. Okay. All right, guys, look, I won't take that long. It took 4 minutes to call roll. But anyway, if y'all want to hang on and let's maybe shift some of y'all to online. I'll see y'all in the morning and then be ready for lab. I do think, I'm not sure about, I think we're going to have masks for y'all. We're going to wear a mask in lab and I've got some gloves. We're going to wear gloves just to be safe. That way, touching the microscope, we'll just throw them off. So we're not going to touch anything without gloves in the lab, just be on the safe side. But we are going to be in no more than 9. I think we got 7 or 8 in each lab. And so I think it's going to go real quick. And that way, I think it should be fun. I've never taught lab with 7. It's going to go, I think we'll get out a few minutes early. Don't tell anybody I said that, okay? But anyway, there's no way I'm going to need an hour and a half to do that, hour and 50 minutes, I don't think. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I know some of y'all have 11 o'clock, and I'm doing 11 o'clock and 1:30, and Mr. Carrera is doing it. So it doesn't matter if you're in Phillips or my lab. I made the schedule. We're doing the same exact thing. Y'all going to be right next door. So I will be here at 11 and 1 if you have a question, okay? All right. The bookstore is open. That's Joel. If y'all need to get a lab book, I'll see y'all later. Let me grab this. Okay. I'll see y'all. Class is over. Y'all have a good one. Hey, man, what's up? Yeah, this one. Yeah. What's up? I got it. Okay. What's up? Yes. Yes. Okay. If I got them in my class, I told them to get their lab book before. So so some of them may be, but they're probably not. They're probably taking it online. So they're going to have to just come up here when you're here. I'm telling you. I can have him send one and tell him you're going to be open from 8 to 3:30 every day. Yeah. Okay. And I'll tell them they do that too. Okay. Okay. We'll do. Okay. Man, yeah, I had my first Zoom class, and I came in to the office, and guess what Zoom decided to do? Update on the 30th. So I couldn't do anything because they control the computers. So I had to call Chuck. So I was about 20 minutes late getting started. So I know you have these young girls. Yeah, I got 2 ladies. I got to help fix their schedule. Talk to you later. Thank you, Joel. Thanks, bro. Bye-bye. That's my book story, man. Okay. Guys, thank y'all for doing the class this morning. I'm so sorry that we didn't get that straight, man. That just sucks. Sorry. Okay, let's see.
Okay. So I'm not a student in the class. I go to Ole Miss full time,
Okay.
and I already took the lab for this class, so I'm only taking the lecture. And I think my advisor had like CC'd you in the email when I was emailing him. So, and I explained to him that I was in Oxford. So, is there like a way that I can take the test at the Oxford campus or something?
Well, no, because I'm just doing it myself. In other words, I'm making them come over here because I just didn't. I mean, we only got 6 of those. But do you need to? Do you want? I mean, I can flip you to online. Ain't no problem, Miss McKinney. I mean, if you want to do
See,
online.
I signed up to take the lecture for A&P 1 in June, and then A&P 2 in the lab and stuff in July.
Yeah, the only way to get them both in. What are you trying to major in, ma'am? What you trying to do?
Occupational therapy.
Okay, now you could just. I mean, you could just take one this summer. Okay, here's what I'm saying is I have a lab over there at Oxford. Not me, but another person's doing lab. You could take the one online and all their tests are going to be, you got to have a camera and do it. It's going to be like, they're going to camera shoot you from your house. But you could take one from home and not have to come in at all for tests. And you can do, but the lab is going to be in person at the DeSoto Center, Oxford Center. We have a center in Oxford, Dr. Loper. I could put
Are you talking about the lab for A&P 2? Because I already taken the lab for A&P 1. I'm just taking the lecture for A&P 1.
Okay, so you don't need the A&P. Okay, so you don't need the A&P 1 lab.
No.
If you took the A&P online and see, so I'm not letting anybody do the Zoom class next month and lecture because then the lab will do it halfway through. It'd be very confusing. Have you had A&P 2 before?
No. I've taken A&P 1 before, and I've taken the lab and stuff, so I just need to like retake the lecture over to get like a better grade.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out a way we can do this where you ain't got to do what you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what did you make a B or C in lecture?
Yeah, I had made like a C.
Okay. Well, here's what I can do. Okay, because that to me is a little bit different story. You see what I'm doing? I'm trying to do my job to help you. You know what I'm saying? But also, you know, I'm not trying to hold you back. If you've already passed A&P 1 with a C, you can go ahead and take A&P 2 online. Just take it online and take the lab over there with Loper. And then you can just do A&P 1 with me and come over here these 6 tests and you'll be done. Or you can take it online and take them both online. Since you've already passed in other words, if you've already had A&P 1 and 2, I'll let you take them both over online. You know what I'm saying? Because you've already had 1 and 2. You already had 1. But if you want to, you can take 2. You have a right to take 2 because if you made a C. Or even if you made a C. And I believe you, I know you ain't lying to me. I'm just saying, you can take them both. You can retake 1. And it may be, I mean, I'll do it however you want to. You come over here to me for 1, but I don't have a way for you to take those lecture tests in Oxford. Because I just don't, in other words, I don't teach the online A&P, so I don't have the digital test. Miss Nickens may do that, and she may do them on computer, but I'm not this month. But if you want, what I'm saying is you're welcome to take online A&P 1 and 2 right now, starting today, and then just do the lab for 2 over there with Loper. Even though that because you're ready, you're qualified to take 2 right now. Or I'll let you stay in mine, and then I can hook you up you can take A&P 2 next month with Miss Nickens, who I think will do more distance testing than I'm going to. I haven't asked her. And if you want to, hey, look, if you want to think about it, you can call me back. I'm going to be here most of the day, at least to dinner. And I'll probably eat and come back up here because I've got to clean a bunch of schedules up. But if you want to think on it, Miss McKinney, I mean, look, you listen to my whole lecture this morning. I am going to help you. But I did not look at everybody's records. I tried to pull everybody up. I think I saw you were taking that over. I made sure you went in live while you went in live, but I can't remember everybody's name. But I did look at your records. I knew you had this once you were taking it over. But you're qualified to take the 2 8 weeks. And really it may be easier 8 weeks online than 4 weeks in person. This is real fast. But if you want to take the A&P 1 with me, I'll do it. If you want to take it online, I'll do it. Okay, Ms. Page, what you need to do. Now you think about it, you can let me know today. And I can fix it anytime today. What about Ms. Page?
I need to switch A&P 1 lecture online because I already took the lab.
Okay. Hang on, do it what we thought. Okay.
Are you still going to be the teacher or is it going to be a different teacher?
I don't know. Okay. I may pick up an A&P online, but right now Miss Strong is doing all of them. We don't
Okay.
know. But I mean, but they're all identical. They're identical. You know what I'm saying? They work very. They're all the same. We use the same. Everybody uses the same course. We have one course. Everybody does the same thing. Okay, let me check. I'm opening it up here. We'll get it going just a second. Okay, so you're not in lab. Okay, let me see. Okay. All right. Let's see if I got Miss Page. Let me see Miss Page. I think I got your ID. You don't have to look it up. I got your ID. 310. Okay, so you need to take that to, you want to go to an online A&P 1, right?
Yes, just the lecture.
Okay, so I've got you in the online class now. And now look, here's the only other problem. It probably won't show up. You won't show up in Canvas probably till tomorrow because it takes it a day or two to flip that. Okay, so you may not have any, you may not be able to get into the online homework till tomorrow. Okay, so you're now, I took you out of my class and you're in the online class, but it does run 8 weeks. Okay, and the final for it is I think the 24th of July. Is that okay? Kelsey, is that cool?
Okay, next question. With the final and stuff, I have to come to the campus, or that's gonna be online too?
You're gonna have to. It's actually gonna be online with a computer. We bought a product that's taping you as you take the test, and it locks your computer when you can't open anything else up.
Okay.
So you will be able to take that home.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Sorry about that, Kel. I tried to get a hold of everybody, and like I said, I just thought, it just is what it is. But so sorry about all that. Okay, so I flipped you to that. You're in it. You're good. You don't need lab, right?
I don't.
You already had it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Kelsey, thank you for listening to my class this morning. So sorry, but I couldn't stop and do that, because I'm already 20 minutes late. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, best of luck. It'll either be Lisa Strong or Miss or me or Miss Nick. Is probably Lisa Strong.
Okay.
Good luck. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, Miss McKinney, what about you? What you do? You want to think on it for a while?
Yeah, could you explain it to me again? Because I know you said if you switch me to the A&P 1 class, it'll be 8 weeks, and then you said something about A&P 2. So like, if you switch me, because like right now I have like the way my registration is set up, the way I book my classes, A&P 2 and the lab is supposed to be for next month in July. So were you saying that if I switch to like the online portion, the online format, I'll be taking A&P 1 and 2 at the same time?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
But
I didn't know, I wouldn't have thought of that because I just saw you were in all 4. I didn't need to call you, because it looked like you knew what you're doing. But somebody tells you it's all online, it's very confusing, and they just didn't know. So I apologize for that. But yeah, since if you made a C in A&P 1, then you can take A&P 2. Okay, so you can take A&P 2 8 weeks and do one of the night labs, and then you live in Oxford. Right? You said you live in Oxford?
Yeah, I live in Oxford.
Well, I've got some labs in Oxford. At least I hope they were open. They may not be open now. You may have to. They were, because we only have 9. But then you could take them both at the same time for 8 weeks. Yes, ma'am. I will let you do that.
So like, is there a way for me to just do the A&P 1, the 8 week, and then keep my July schedule the same? Because let me pull it up.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine if you can come in, if you don't mind driving over. You don't need the one. Yeah, I said I'd do that too. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm trying to pull up the email of the classes. Cause my advisor name was Michael Wesley.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Because I think the teacher for one of them one of the classes he put me in is Dickens. It's under Dickens.
Miss Dickens is the July 2 teacher. So she teaches 2 in July. She's doing all the 2s that are 8 weeks.
Okay, let's see. And will that one be the same as setup is the same as this one?
Okay, now which one are you talking about? July?
The A&P 2, yes, sir.
It'll be exactly like this, except she may not make y'all come in for tests. She may test them online. I don't know. I haven't asked her. In other words, we had an option where we could do the online test, which I don't like. I want y'all to take it so I can see that you ain't cheating, anybody's cheating, and then I can grade them and give them back to you. But she may do it differently. But she will do those labs the same time. She has 11 o'clock and 1:30 lab, and then the lectures at 8 o'clock on Zoom. Well, so you would be able to talk to her like we talked today.
Okay, and the labs will be in person in
the problem is, okay, I guess this is where we're having a problem. If you take the 4-week lecture, you really want to take the 4-week lab, or it's going to blow your mind. You know what I mean? You're going to get so far out of whack, it's kind of crazy. So what I would recommend doing is, if you want to do the 4-week with me and take one of my labs, and then we're done on June 25th, and then you get a week off and come back and take it with Miss Nickens. That's really what you need to do. And look, nobody else on here but me and you. I'm looking at your records. You made a D in the lecture. So technically, you're supposed to make a C before you take A&P 2. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, even though you passed it, that D won't count in nursing. So honest to goodness, I think the best thing for you would be to do this one in person and do the lab. You already got the lab grade. You made a B, so you're fine with lab. You're right. You got to be in lab. That's gold. But do this with me, and then take Miss Nickens in person like this, and then she may be, you don't have to drive over for those test dates, but her lab will be here. And I know you're going, can I take the labs at Oxford? Well, then they're 8-week labs. So you'll be so far out of skelter, it would be crazy. We'll be through and you won't even be at the midterm in A&P 1. So I think that, I think the A&P 1's full. It was full last night. So I think the best thing for you mentally would be just to do 1 over here and then do 2, but I don't think you'll have to come over here for your test, all of them. And I can ask her. I haven't talked to her today, but I can ask her.
So you're saying the best thing for me to do is just keep my schedule like it is, basically?
And say, yes, ma'am. So I think for you, as your advisor, now, but if you'd made, like, look, I'm not judging, I'm just saying, but if you made a C in that class when you took it, then I have no problem putting you in A&P 2 and 1 both at the same time, 8 weeks, and letting you go. You know what I'm saying? But if you really, since we're on the first day of class and you listen to me for 2 freaking hours, I might just put you in both of them if you went all online, and then let you do the labs over there in Oxford just to try to be nice because you sat here for 2 hours this morning. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of, I'm bending the rules a little bit, putting you in A&P 2, truthfully.
Okay.
But